We get the Krueg show rolling on a Sunday night. Was at the Niner game today in Santa Clara, and now we are back in the home studio. I'm joined by the great Dan Coccimilgio and a lot of people in the chat. 49ers get a win. Brock Purdy beats Tom Brady, and the Niners have another quarterback debate on their hands. It's almost like this franchise's quarterback debates are almost synonymous with this franchise. Joe or Steve, Alex or Cap. And now, it was Trey or Jimmy. And now it's Trey or Jimmy or Brock.
Hey, in the summer when they were doing the rosters, you and I believe we said it on the show. I know you and I were talking personally. I said, the real quarterback controversy is not Trey and Jimmy. It's going to be next year when it's
Brock
Trey and Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy, what do
you think?
I was talking to my brother Steve on the phone.
Do you see it?
Watching the game. It's so obvious. He escapes the pocket and makes things happen. He gets away. He's got quick feet. He's able to, throw on the run. The reason Jimmy got hurt is because he can't run. It's just
I think this is the most accurate quarterback they have. Now the deep ball on the touchdown to Ayuk admittedly hung. That was not a great pass.
Well, he was also, though, if you look at the replay, he was not really set. He was on his back foot because he was about to get clobbered.
How about the ball? How about the dime he threw to McCaffrey at the pylon?
Yeah, that was beautiful. If you look at
two guys were bearing down on him.
Yeah, that play where he threw to Ayuk on the double move that Ayuk did, he knew he was going to get clobbered, and he was kind of leaning back, and he kind of flung it just to get rid of it real quick because he was about to take a vicious hit. So I think if he was able to step into it, it wouldn't have been hanging.
Well, we got a lot to get to, and of course, people piling into the room. Ryan's going to join us in a bit. I've invited the great Jordan Elliott to stop by. We'll see if Jordan has time. I know he does some work late at night. MF says, love watching the Krueg show while my flight is delayed. MF, flight delayed back to San Diego? From San Diego somewhere else? Is he an LA guy, San Diego guy?
I think he's Southern Cal guy, lives down there, I believe. Maybe he was at the Charger
Miami game
tonight, possibly. Not sure. Maybe he's coming back up to the Bay.
We also got to get into this one. Mo G, Jerry Rice was not too happy with Kyle Shanahan about the Debo injury.
Yes.
He went what social media platform did he go to? Was it IG? Twitter.
Or maybe it was somehow posted on Twitter, but it was from another platform. But yeah, he wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with.
I'm not happy either. I'm with Jerry on that.
I was on the same thing. I'm going, what do you it's a difference if it's a tight ball game, but it was 21-0. And
what are you doing?
You got Jordan Mason on the bench, hasn't seen any.
He's a bull. Yet. He's an absolute monster. I love Jordan Mason, by the way. Absolutely. How fun was Jordan Mason today?
Absolutely. We've seen it twice now. We've seen it every game he's been out there. He bowls over people.
Oh, he's so fun to watch. Jordan Mason for the day, 11 carries, 56 yards, 5.1 a carry, only to be eclipsed by McCaffrey, who really had a monster day. 14 carries, 119 yards, 8.5 yards a carry, and the touchdown, and then also 2 catches for 34 yards and a touchdown on only 3 targets. So, the 49ers have a lot of weapons. The Debo thing looked like a left knee ACL blowout. We won't know for sure until he gets the MRI tomorrow. But now they're saying they think it's an ankle and they don't think it's a season ender. They don't think it's maybe a high ankle sprain. It could be gone 6 weeks.
I heard 3 to 6. You hate to see it happen, but in a way, the way things are lining up, it could be kind of a silver, blessing in disguise in a way, because it may allow Danny Gray to start getting some reps and open up the Niner game in a different way. If the 49ers win Thursday night, they clinch the West of the NFC West. They clinch it. They'll have 3 games left, and they'll be 3 games up on Seattle with beating Seattle both times. So this is a really important game because you want to win that division early so that when you have nagging injuries, like let's say they won the division and Bosa had a hammy that was questionable today, they would have sat him. They would have given him an extra week of rest. That's what you gain by winning the division. So put Seattle away Thursday night, and you're going to see guys, spot rest, kind of load management the last few weeks.
They may need some more D linemen. I mean, they worked out, I think, a guy named Marlon Davidson the other day. Today, Kevin Givens had a significant injury. Who was the other D lineman that also got hurt? Didn't they lose 2 D linemen at one point?
Givens went down, and who else?
It was one of the defensive ends, I thought. I could look it up here.
I can't remember, but I don't know what's going to happen.
Givens, Debo, Kerry Hyder. Hyder and Givens both went down, and then they lost Lenore and Dante Johnson and Debo. So 5 big injuries.
I think Lenore came back in, though, didn't he?
I think Lenore came back. I don't know that any of them are that serious. The Givens one is the one I didn't get an update on. But, the 49er, first of all, I talked about a lot of these things in the pregame today with Low Neal on 95.7 The Game. Catch us, by the way. We are at the Santa Clara Hilton on game days, and then we're in studio on 95.7 The Game for, an hour before kickoff for all the games. Me and Low Neal, the former 16-year vet, all-pro fullback, future Hall of Famer. I love Low Neal. Love talking ball with Low Neal. But we talked about it this morning, and I'm like, man, Tampa's O-line, there's no Tristan Wirfs. They've had guys coming and going all year. They're not that good in the middle. The 49ers have an incredible D-line led by Bosa, who didn't practice but was planning on playing and did play. And they got a 45-year-old quarterback in Tom Brady. And I thought, man, it's going to be jailbreak on Brady, and they may knock him out. But Brady just gets rid of the ball so fast. But they still found a way to hit him and harass him and hurry him up. And the 49er defensive front, I thought, played an outstanding ball game. But to me, this overwhelming story is the fans chanting Brock and the absolute mastery of the game from Brock Purdy. I mean, he was absolutely fantastic again. 16 of 21, 185 yards. That all came in the first half. You know what he was at halftime? Those are his final stats. At halftime, Dan, this is what Purdy was at half. 14 of 18 for 185 and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
So 14 of 18 in the first half. So he threw a couple incompletions in the second half. That's basically it. But the 49ers on the money down, the quarterback down, the down that makes you judge quarterbacks and if they're getting it done or not. He was great on third down last week against Miami. Today, the 49ers they converted 4 out of 5 on third downs with Brock Purdy. They dominated the time of possession, especially in the first half. So, I mean, overall, I just felt like Brock Purdy showed his movement ability, his poise, his accuracy.
One of the plays, Larry, that was so awesome was his touchdown run to make it 14-0. I'm watching it again right now, and what I'm seeing is Jimmy. No way would have been able to do that. Now I like Jimmy. Okay, I'm not one of super.
It doesn't
Jimmy
have to
guy.
be an either or situation.
It doesn't have to be an either or. Yeah, it's not, and it's not. Jimmy would not have been able to make that play. Brock has very, very quick feet and instincts for the field. So when you watch that play, he sees it very quickly. And he moves to the left, then moves back to the right and sneaks in. It's pretty phenomenal what he sees because I can show it to you real quick here.
Oh, go ahead.
Just from my phone here, but watch it from the end zone. Look, watch him run. Right, left, boom. That isn't something that is coachable.
Well, how about Danny? How about the third down? Was it 3rd and 11, and he ran for 11, and it got called back because of a Trent Williams hold?
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
was a
And
tremendous play as well, and he kind of deked the
yeah.
defender who had an angle by making him think he was going to throw. He was already 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, and he was still carrying out a fake like he was going to throw the ball, and the defender was still buying it, and then he beat him to the pylon. But of course, he got negated on a penalty. The other part of this game that I think has to be mentioned, and I'm missing something here. Purdy finds McCaffrey on the dime at the pylon, 27-yard touchdown. They rule it incomplete.
That was unbelievable.
It was ruled a touchdown. Then they looked at it again, incomplete. I don't get what happened from there, because then Kyle Shanahan throws a challenge flag, and it was reviewed again?
Yeah, what happened?
What was going on there? How do you get reviewed again?
Yeah, the NFL must have looked at it, and they called it incomplete on the field. I don't know if they did a quick look, but when Kyle challenged it, they look at it very, very closely. What happened was McCaffrey caught the ball, and then he bobbled it.
No, I know. I saw. And then he had possession before and got both feet in.
Yeah, but he got a toe in, and
just a toe.
His toe hit, and then his heel went out of bounds.
Wasn't it ruled? It was ruled a touchdown. They went to review it. They came back and said incomplete. People booed. Kyle then challenged, and then they looked at it again, and this time said it was complete. So I here's my question. What was the first review? What was the difference between the first review and the second review? Do you know what I'm saying? Why doesn't review just get it right? Yeah. Why do you have to,
I think the first review was the Tampa Bay coach's box. And
I thought the first review was because they review all scores.
Right.
Okay. So, but then wouldn't they, if they're going to review it, why would they then change it? And then after they review all scores, then you have a right to challenge the review.
I guess so. I don't think they must have done a very quick. They must have done a real quick. As a kid,
I used to watch the new Zoo review. Did you ever see the new Zoo review?
New
They're
Zoo
coming
review.
back at you.
That's been a while.
Henrietta Hippo. No, it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago.
Well, we got a donation.
I didn't get that. That one I did not get. But overall, I think that right now, I mean, Nick Bosa. Did you hear Nick Bosa's quote? The post game?
I did not get any of the post.
They asked Nick Bosa about Brock Purdy. You know what he said? We got a quarterback.
Oh,
he's like, we got a quarterback.
We got a quarterback.
And he said it. He wasn't a rip on anybody, but I mean, is Brock Purdy the 49ers quarterback going forward?
Hey, I wouldn't be surprised, just because I'm just looking at the eye test. The eye test tells me, he doesn't have the experience in the NFL that Jimmy does, but he has way more talent. And
he's more accurate.
Yes, he's more accurate, and he's more mobile, and all he has to do is play within the system, use his ability, and don't try to force things. He's going to throw an interception as he did today. Fortunately, there was a penalty. That's going to happen. He's young, but because of
he's aggressive, he takes chances.
But what he has is he has the it factor.
Oh, he's got moxie.
Yeah, he's got that factor. Very few people have it. Do
you believe quarterbacks are born a la Joe Montana or made a la Steve Young?
I think you have to have the it, and Steve had that at birth, and Joe had it. It's built within, and the talent comes afterwards. But guys that have,
you got to be really, really smart.
Yes.
To play quarterback in the NFL, because you got to process a lot of things quickly under pressure, and there's just a lot going on. There's a lot going on.
certain things can shape it. Different life events, like being the last pick in the 7th round, being the pick like Brady was in the 6th round, being overlooked. Aaron Rodgers sitting in the green room. They have the talent, but once you and they have that it factor, and you give them a little more edge, you push them, poke the bear, so to speak, that comes out.
All right, let's hit some chats. Green Glass Full says $2. Purdy looks better than Jimmy or Trey, period.
Yeah, period. There's no,
Wow.
Maybe you can put an exclamation point on it too.
I mean, that's pretty good. What else? Let's see. We've got this one, Permaculture. He says Brock had great downfield throws, great short and middle game, looked very mobile while avoiding the big shots during the run. Limited sample size, but impressive nonetheless. MF, who's one of our channel members, says great game. I don't know. We've got a little what's up, Krug? What's up, Dan? From Too Much. There's I thought to me, it's one game, I guess 2 games now, but I said it in Twitter about a week ago. I said, by the time Jimmy G is ready to come back, it's going to be, if he is even ready at any point to come back, because there's also, there's multiple reports out. Some reports say that he might be ready to come back in the second round of the playoffs. Other reports saying, no, he's out for the year.
Who's this?
If he could come back, by the time
Jimmy?
he's ready to come back, they won't want him to come back.
Oh, I think if he's ready to come back for the Super Bowl or the NFC Championship, they'll bring him back, but as the backup.
I don't think so. I think
they'll bring him back. They're not going to leave. They're not going to make what's his name? Who's the guy that's the backup now?
Jacob Eason or Josh Johnson?
Yeah, Josh Johnson is. If Jimmy's ready, he'll be the backup.
I'm not. I'm saying as the starter.
No, he won't be the starter. Purdy is effective as he was.
I mean, if they get to the NFC Championship game, they will have probably won 4 out of 5, 5 out of 6, to get in, and then maybe another playoff game or 2.
All I want from Brock Purdy is 7 more great games, and that means they win it all. So
Patrick Sheehan, Larry called it from the jump at camp. I remember it vividly. Yeah. You know what? The one thing I cannot stand is I can't stand the kind of people that say, I told you so. Told you so. I hate those kinds of people. But
I told you so.
I did see this one. This one.
Say it.
But you know what? I've been wrong before. I thought Carlos Hyde was going to be damn good. In fact,
it wasn't bad. Just not wasn't that great.
Who were you sold on? Who are you absolutely sold on? I did a high five on draft day. The year the Niners traded up for J.J. Stokes. I was at a draft party. I'm like, J.J. Stokes, get over here.
You win some.
He's the next Jerry.
You miss some. You hit some. You miss some. It's just like GMs. I mean, even Farhan hits a good one once in a while.
Vicky Pellich says Brock Purdy's better than Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Keep him healthy.
Yeah, and this is not a knock on Jimmy. It really shouldn't be a referendum on Jimmy.
They don't play against each other.
Yeah. Jimmy is a capable quarterback, has won many, many games for the 49ers and gotten them to the Super Bowl, got to an NFC Championship, but he's limited. You could see the difference when you look at Brock Purdy versus Jimmy on the field. You could see what's missing from Jimmy's game is the ability to escape the pocket, to run for a first down, to run for a touchdown, or throw it on the run. Those are all things that Jimmy just can't do.
This guy's accuracy on the run is so
what Jimmy does well is he gets rid of the ball quick, and he's has a pretty good completion percentage.
He's resilient, and guys play hard for him.
And he's tough, and people love him. So there's no reason really to rip on Jimmy. He also makes a lot of big
mistakes until this year.
Yeah, there's no reason to just say, Jimmy's crap or that. I mean, he won a lot of football games. There's a lot of people in the NFL say that only wish they had the success that Jimmy's had in getting to a Super Bowl and an NFC Championship. I mean, my goodness, there's a lot of great quarterbacks who never even made it to the Super Bowl. So
okay, couple quick questions. for the chat. Do you believe in Brock Purdy? Or are you like Jesus M here, who says, nice story, but Purdy's playing with adrenaline? We got this one. All Purdy deniers bow down. Rye has joined the green room. What's going on, Rye? Do you believe in Brock Purdy? And give me the guy he reminds you of. Give me the guy that if you said somebody's never seen him, because there'll be people around America tomorrow who are going to catch this headline and go, wait a second, the Niners destroyed the Buccaneers? What? Are you kidding me? 35-7? Brock Purdy beat Tom Brady that bad? Who's Brock Purdy? What? Brock Purdy? Yeah, the kid from Iowa? Yeah. There's going to be a lot of people looking at Brock Purdy in the next couple of days. If somebody called you and said, give me, I don't got time, just give me somebody, who's he like? Give me one guy who he's like.
That's tough.
The question is, who's Brock most resemble? And do you believe in Brock? Or do you believe that the rest of us who are a little bit excited about this are putting the cart way, way before the horse, and you can't evaluate this guy? I mean, heck, there were a lot of people saying that Colin Kaepernick was better than Russell Wilson after, half dozen games.
Yeah, I think you got to give it time. But if you're asking who he reminds me of after 1.5 to almost,
who does he remind you of?
He's got a little bit of Drew Brees in him. He's got a little bit of Brady in him. He's got a little bit of Aaron Rodgers in the fact that he sees the field well and he can get rid of it accurately. But is he going to be as good or great as any of those guys? Jury's way, way too soon.
I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be a superstar. No, I'm just asking the question, who does he remind you of? And do you believe that he's a starting NFL? Why don't we put it this way. Do you believe that Brock Purdy is a starting NFL quarterback? Or do you still think we're looking at a guy who's strictly backup material? And I'd love to hear what people, and I'm not going to bite off your head either way. I agree with Danny. I think that, we need to see more, and we can't make an evaluation right now. I mean, it would be easy right now to say, oh, he's fucking great. Are you kidding me? This guy's terrific. But you got to wait a little bit to be a little bit more circumspect long-term. But I believe he's an NFL starting quarterback. And to me, he reminds me of like kind of a mini version of Joe Burrow. He knows what he's looking at pre-snap at the line of scrimmage. He seems like he knows not only where he wants to go with the ball, but like the footwork and the mechanics tied in with carrying out the play fakes. I saw him today do something that I watch Burrow do a lot, guys, which is kind of manipulate the safeties in the middle of the field with his eyes. And it's really a difficult thing to do. Burrow does it well. I saw Purdy do that. Just looking at one glance of one of the close-ups, you could kind of tell that he was kind of moving the safety with his eyes. Ryan, where are you on Purdy? Do you believe that he's a NFL starter? Is he a backup? And who does he remind you of?
Well, I mean, what's interesting is obviously I wasn't even nearly as close to as high on Purdy as you were and are, but in our Gridiron magazine thing, I was going back through my notes and I said, most accurate guy at camp, surprising time rhythm passing game already. Like he already had this great connection with all these receivers. That was befuddling to me. I was like, what? How does he possibly have such good timing and rhythm with all these receivers he's never worked with before? And it is just like he's like a vet coming in here, I guess. Like it's sort of like the Luka Doncic thing I brought up last time where, maybe his ceiling isn't that much higher than this, but he is like coming into the league like, he's already playing like prime Brock Purdy level, which is that's exactly what they need this year. If anything, maybe he reminds me a little bit of he's like a combination of, and this maybe doesn't sound great, but in my mind, it just is what I'm thinking. he's like a combination of Gardner Minshew and like peak Jimmy G, like Jimmy G when he's at his best.
A little bit. Gardner Minshew has a little bit of magic to him.
A little bit of magic.
Sure. A little bit of
and you know what, Purdy, he's gonna throw some picks for sure, because he's but that's awesome. Like
that's a rip, and he throws it.
So
short.
did Brett Favre. Brett Favre had the most picks in NFL history, I think. But here's the thing that I think we tend to forget. Larry, you mentioned Joe Burrow, which I can see that, but Brock Purdy came into the NFL more experienced than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had 1 year of college, really, where he played at LSU. You talked about Gardner Minshew. There's another guy, 1 or 2 years of college playing. Brock Purdy played 46 games. There's something to be said for playing big-time college football, and from a freshman on, that
in a Power 5 conference.
Yeah,
Bill Parcells. Not to interrupt you, Danny, but Bill Parcells used to be adamant that he didn't want to draft any quarterback that didn't play, 40 plus college starts, that hadn't really played a full college career.
Yeah, and that's why you see his advancement over Trey. I mean, Trey has a much higher ceiling than any of the quarterbacks on the roster, but it's kind of like the James Wiseman thing. He doesn't have much game experience, but I think Trey can be a great player in this league, but I do think Brock Purdy right now serves the Niners better than any of the quarterbacks that on the roster, just simply because of his ability to get out of the pocket.
And look at the points. I mean, at the end of the day, we can talk about accuracy. We can talk about completion percentage. We can talk about a lot of things. Your job is to produce points.
Yeah, Brock Purdy cost me my fantasy today because I had Tampa's defense and they were -2. That's like -2. They were supposed to get me 6 points. I lost 8 points and I lost by 5. And so, it's like I should have traded. I knew it. I should have got rid of Tampa's defense this week, but
I had Purdy and Brady today, and I started Purdy. I don't know if I won or not, but
Brady might have been like negative.
But you didn't win.
Brady
Larry.
had a good second half.
I'll tell you what you ended up with.
Yards.
You got beat by. You actually came close though. You got 113, and Sean's cup runneth over. He's got 126, but he's still got another thing for tomorrow night. So
I wanted to play J.K. Dobbins, who got 18, and I just didn't pull the trigger. Kid Tricksta says, here's $9.99. Larry, what do you guys think of people blaming Kyle for Debo's injury? You play Debo to be a wide back, or you pay Debo to be a wide back, even though we're up 21-0. Don't take your pedal off the gas. Give your best players the ball. Well, personally, I just think that why would you keep running McCaffrey and Debo or your quarterbacks up the middle when you have a 240-pound, rookie back who's just fresh and looks like Marshawn Lynch? I'm not getting that. You have a 235-pound monster who looked great today. Mason's numbers, he was terrific. What he have 11 carries for 56 yards. He's a rumbler, and he's a big physical back. And I've seen him take some big hits and push the pile. I don't get why they don't feature him between the tackles. I didn't like it. And I'm not playing Monday morning quarterback. I don't like running my wide receivers or my quarterbacks between the tackles. And I really don't like, running Debo between the tackles when you're up 21-0. It's 21-0 at that point. Risk reward. Don't risk tons for a minor reward. And that's what that is. And so I didn't like it. And Jerry shouted it out. I love Shanahan. I'm sure Jerry loves Shanahan. We all love Shanahan. I'm not saying that Shanahan can't coach or that I know more than Shanahan. I disagree with you. In this case, I agree with Jerry. I don't want to see Trey Lance run between the tackles. I don't want to see Danny Gray run between the tackles. I don't want to see any non-running back running between the tackles. You get hurt running between the tackles. You know, these running backs have enormously strong legs and they're built low to the ground. Most NFL running backs are like 5'10", 210 or 5'10", 220. That's a compact guy who can take a lot of hits. Most receivers are not that big and can't take that kind of punishment. So it's not just because he got hurt. I don't like running Debo between the tackles. Why? Because almost by definition, if it's between the tackles, it's between a 2 to 7 yard gain. And the hits that he's taking are not a good trade-off for 7 yards. Now, if you want to run him like on an end around, get him outside and maybe bust one for 40, and then he gets hurt on that, I'll take to me, that's greater risk reward. At least you had a chance to get 40 yards. What are you getting on a Debo run up the A gap?
Yeah,
3
when
yards,
you're up
5
21-0,
yards?
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
If it's a tight game in the NFC
get
playoffs,
your guys off the
maybe
field.
you take that risk in the playoffs.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I Kid Trickstead sounds like you're with Shanny on that one. I would probably push back and say, I don't like it. And it wasn't just
I'm with Jerry Rice on that one. I didn't get it because it's not like you're without other backs to do that. You had Mason and Tevin Coleman, on the bench. Let those guys, run it up the middle.
Brian Lucena said Purdy had a rating of 150 at the half.
It's unbelievable.
I don't really like quarterback rating. It's like, it's all over the place. QBR though, I take a lot of stock in, and
is that the ESPN stat?
It's the ESPN stat. It factors in rushing. It factors in some other things.
And what did you think of it? What was his QBR? Did he have
92? 92. That's going to be like, maybe you get one guy over 90 every 3 weeks in the league. So I'll
say this. I don't know that Purdy's going to lead him to the Super Bowl, and I talked about this in the pregame with Lo Neal, and I mentioned this to you guys the other night. We're in the locker room, and we've now been in there enough to get a sense of the vibe. The vibe this week was like, we believe in this guy. We think we have a really good football team, and we think we're alive in this Super Bowl tournament. That's the vibe I got. Nobody said Super Bowl. Nobody made any boisterous statement. But like, we interviewed them, we asked them a number of questions this week. I never got the feeling that there was any resignation from the players or any disappointment that Jimmy was out, Trey was out, they had Brock. I never got any feel from any player or coach or anybody that the Niners were in any way even less of a contender than they were when they had Jimmy. And that really struck me, because I'm thinking this is still a third string rookie quarterback that's coming in. But guys, that's what happens when you do it on the practice field every day from July on. And now it's second week in December. These guys see what Brock can do, and they know there's not a huge difference. And to me, if you said, give me a description of the Niner locker room surrounding this whole quarterback carousel, I would say they just been totally unaffected. They just don't seem affected at all by the fact they went from Trey to Jimmy. They didn't seem affected going from Jimmy to Brock.
And there's a lot made about so much so that like there was reporters. I remember there was reporters in the locker room that were like, how disgusting the way these players are all still chipper and just excited about
they don't care
after Trey got injured, because they're like, no one care, like, what kind of locker room is Shanahan running, and none of these guys care about each other.
That's because reporters never played games. A lot of them didn't play before. You got to understand, these guys all know that every play it could be them.
Remember, everyone was diagnosing. They're like, oh my God, look, McGlinchey picked up Jimmy. McGlinchey never picked up Trey in the one game he played.
Well, guys, do you remember? I mean, I hate to say it because I love Tim, but didn't Tim Kawakami suggest that the only reason Tim Ryan was talking up Purdy in the preseason was to help the front office?
Oh,
How condescending and ridiculous is that?
oh, I know.
Tim knows ball.
Yeah.
Dude, Tim played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tim saw what I saw, which was the kid can play. And you know what? I talked to Tim on the sidelines in camp, and the one thing I can remember the conversation like it was yesterday. We started talking about how Brock bled the play clock at the end of the first preseason game like a 10-year fucking veteran. He's making his first preseason start and he's bleeding out the clock like he's played 15 years in the league. So Tim
Well, how
just
about
knows
even
ball.
today? How about the end of the first half today? They let it go down. They weren't panicked. They weren't rushed.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And they were like not using.
I felt like they were going to
timeouts.
score, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I knew they were going to get at least a field goal, but I thought they might get a touchdown.
And they got the touchdown, and that was a huge point in the game.
I gotta say, I guess I got pre-triggered after this game because it's like, you know what? Everything went so well. All of these people that are obsessed with Jimmy on either side or Trey on either side, like it's like Purdy thing is united the whole 49ers fan base. We should all be coming together and linking arms, putting our differences besides us. And then I was like, he's
Jimmy Carter. He's bringing everybody together.
I was like, well, okay, what's going to be the thing that because nobody can go, you can't go a whole media cycle without, just ripping on Shanahan or ripping on somebody, ripping on the player. So I was like, what is it going to be? And it's like, that's why I just refuse to engage in any of the Debo, Kyle is injuring Debo. He doesn't care about his players, doesn't take it into account. It's like, I don't know. That play he was like an outside zone. It was just an outside zone from Gunn. It's like Debo could have bounced it outside. He cut it back inside. I don't love that, but I mean, it's the same thing with McCaffrey. And then what happens with McCaffrey is it's like, well, I don't know if it's happen. Want McCaffrey going in between the tackles. I mean, I think I almost trust Debo more going in between the tackles than McCaffrey. Just help.
It's not the run, and it's not where it is. It's the scoreboard, and that's the Niners haven't been up 21 very much this year. Now they got a game, late in the year where they're up 21. I think a lot of Niner fans were just like, hey,
they got 5 weeks. They got 5 weeks before the first playoff game, so he should be healed up.
Hopefully he'll be healed up. One quick one here, and then Danny, make your point. Godzilla says $5. Really hyped for Purdy. However, can we pump the brakes a bit? Remember others' early success stories like Brock Osweiler, RG3, butt fumble, Mark Sanchez, and others. Fair enough. I think that's fair. Brian Lucina says, Purdy has an oblique injury. How serious? Rye, you were in the locker room after the game. Was there any revelations? I know you might not have heard Shanahan, but any update of any kind that you heard on the oblique injury for Purdy?
I mean, I saw Shanahan sitting with Purdy and they were talking. But it didn't seem like anything bad. It seemed like they were just kind of broing down after a big win.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I heard that he may, depending on how he wakes up, that he might not be able to go Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Too Much says he could have played the entire game if he wanted to.
He said he could have played the entire game if he needed to, but
tomorrow, you never know tomorrow.
Yeah, but also there's a good chance that he's not going to be able to suit up in Thursday.
Was it from a hit or from throwing?
I don't know.
Yeah. He did take some hits. I mean,
he definitely took some game. He got crushed.
I think one thing that you're going to see from Purdy because of the accuracy is I think we're going to see the 49ers who have these incredible run after the catch weapons start to pile up run after the catch yardage. I think his accuracy, and I was talking to O'Neal about this, dumping it to, Hughes check in the flat. It can, the same play just carried out in a different kind of rhythm can have a dramatically different result. If you make that pass to Hughes check in the flat, but it's at his feet, maybe he catches it, but then he gets absolutely hit by the linebacker and he gets a 5-yard gain. If you can hit him in stride, he might have a 25-yard gain or a 30-yard gain. So the one thing I think that the upside of Brock Purdy is that he throws a catchable ball. He's also really accurate. And I think that because of his accuracy, we're going to see the Niners start to pile up big rack yardage. And I think that's what we're going to see in the next month.
Hey, Ryan, I'm trying. Hold on. Go ahead. I'll text you.
Brady also escaped in this game. Ebukam's, fell into Brady's legs. And man, I mean, guys, he was what, another half step away from taking out the Golden Boy at the knees. That would have been ugly if Tom Brady had torn up his knee on his return to San Francisco. Or
actually, you called it. Bay Area, it would easily get the reporting would get muffled. It would get telephoned. It'd be like, local Bay Area reporter Larry Krueger called for Brady to be injured.
Check my text out. I did it, but it's still there.
By the way, so like I know like there's Mr. BMW. Like I think some people got ticked off.
What?
Yeah, whatever. But
he's calling you guys morons.
Some people got ticked off when I said that I compared Purdy to like a mix between Minshew and Jimmy G, because they're like, oh, Jimmy, what? The Jimmy G part is maybe the most important part, and that's that he has like Carter. He has starting quarterback like brain and mind and presence and likability, something that even like Kirk Cousins doesn't have. And that's like the guys all love him and they all believe in him immediately. And he always fired up. That's the Jimmy G thing. Like Jimmy G had, even maybe he wasn't as talented as like a top, 10 guy, most top 10 guys. But because he had that, maybe it's because he's just so handsome. He was so confident, but like Purdy has that. So that's like step one. That's like maybe the most important step, because how many Minshews or Mike Whites, like, oh, it's fun. Like when they're talking about crushing beers and Minshew's like partying and all that. It's like, yeah, Minshew's just kind of a fun fling, but like, or Ryan Fitzpatrick even, but this guy's like, operating like Russell Wilson. Like he's just all football studying. And
that might be the best comparison is Russell Wilson. He might be kind of a Russell Wilson. This guy does a lot of things that Russell Wilson does naturally, Purdy does naturally. And I think that's because both those guys are really competitive guys. Now,
I'll tell Blotus here.
Okay, my comparison was garbage, but let's just also remember that Dan and Larry, I love you and I love your guys' comparisons, but your comparisons were all Hall of Famers. So
wait a minute. Let me first say this.
I think of Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow's a Hall of Famer?
Joe Burrow's pre-Hall of Fame.
I said what he reminds me of now, but I said we got a long way to go. The question was, what does he remind you of right now?
Who does he look like? Who does he
and what did you say? You said Aaron Rodgers and Breeze, and
I said he's got some breeze in him. And Rodgers, how he sees the field and is accurate. Breeze, his
my point
kind
is
of height,
why
and
they
the
don't
fact
like
that he's
comparison.
able to escape. And I'll just say this, as far as Blotus saying that I didn't come. What does he say? I'm glad Ryan and Dan finally came on board. Morons. Okay, let me tell you, Blotus. And Larry can vouch for this.
Blotus. It's
if he calls me a moron, I can call him Blotus.
Okay? And we're coming together and seeing Kumbaya and Purdy. We're not
Blotus.
Dan. Dan, your aggressiveness and your negativity kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I like Blotus. I'm calling out Blotus because I said that Brock Purdy was in camp. I told Larry, and I said it on this show, the controversy will be next year when it's not Jimmy and Trey, it's Trey and Brock Purdy.
Well, here's the question I want to ask you guys. Godzilla says Purdy has Jimmy's quick game and Trey's running game. Purdy is QB1. All right. If tomorrow the Niners are playing the Eagles at the Link for a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and you can have Trey Lance fully healthy, Jimmy fully healthy, Purdy fully healthy, because we know that ultimately it's going to come down to situational, right? It's going to be like, is Jimmy healthy at the end? Do the Niners have a good thing going with Purdy? There's going to be other factors as far as who they play if they actually meet. But let's just say this game was tomorrow, and you can have your choice of any of the Niner quarterbacks at full health. Who do you want?
Oh, I got to go Jimmy, just because, it's one thing for like I'm totally in on Purdy. I actually think still definitely could win the Super Bowl with Purdy, 100%. I think the Eagles are probably the favorite, but I think we're right there, number 2.
It's a projection. I mean, the Purdy thing is obviously a projection. He's only played 2 games.
Yeah, give me 5. Give me
we
4
don't know.
games.
That's a lot of pressure. Like under that theory, if it's played tomorrow, that means that he didn't even get to prepare with playoffs. He didn't even get to warm up with the playoffs and I don't know what kind of playoff guy he is. At least I know Jimmy. I don't know. Jimmy may be Kyle may limit the shit out of Jimmy, but Jimmy may do some stupid stuff, but he at least he's not afraid.
It really comes down to who do you trust more. I think I'd go with Purdy.
I'd like to see 4 more games of Purdy. Because
yeah, of course you would.
If I can see what I saw today, or not even has to be,
just based on what you know right now, based on what you've seen thus far. So we're all living in the present here.
Well, yeah, but
and you're playing the Eagles tomorrow with a chance in Philly for a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Who do you want, Jimmy, Trey, or Brock?
Well, I think the offense is more explosive with Brock because they can do more things, and you saw that today. If you're just basing it off today, you'd be crazy to say, in my mind.
It's not based on today. It's based on.
Well, that's what you're asking, because I want to see.
No, it's based on history up to today.
Yeah, but
Well, I mean, if you don't want to, don't be the prisoner of the moment. I mean,
because
right now, we all, you've heard the old term recency bias, right?
I want to see more.
Try to
Brock
block out your recency bias and
there's
evaluate.
More film on him, and if he's able to continue.
Jimmy's had great playoff games. He's had bad ones too.
Yeah, I mean, personally, talent-wise, as far as ability to do more on the field, I mean, Purdy can move. And that's Jimmy's biggest weakness is he cannot move in the pocket and escape the pocket. So, I mean, Jimmy's not just slow, he's not quick.
Nicky Pellich says Brock Purdy fully healthy, no doubt.
Brock is quick, and he's not super fast, but he's quick. His feet move really quick, and he makes quick decisions. But if I saw something similar to this over the rest of the regular season, I would go with Purdy. But if I see Purdy digress and all of a sudden he's throwing 3 picks a game,
or even regress,
that's pretty extreme.
What's that?
Should go from here or 3 picks?
Well, that's what I mean. It could be
anywhere in between.
You don't know. I mean,
he fires it in tight windows for sure, and he trusts himself to make these incredibly difficult throws. I mean, I'll say this: Brock Purdy acts like he's a 7-year, 8-year veteran, and he's made all these throws many times, and he's got great confidence and great connection to these receivers. And only because we know he's a rookie and we know he doesn't have that many reps with these receivers, do we know that he doesn't have that rapport. But it is interesting watching him out there. Like, he acts like, even the guys told us this week, right? Was it Banks that said that he yelled at some receiver?
Yeah.
Keep your route going, and dropping F-bombs. And we got Trent Williams, who kind of maybe referenced that even to Will Gavin when you guys did that interview on Friday, that he's kind of taking control. And we've heard that from Ayuk and other guys in the huddle, that he's got a real presence about him. So I don't know. It's an interesting thing. He's played a lot of football.
I would rather have Brock Purdy off of a 1-game sample size than Kyler Murray for the rest of their careers, just literally based off only personality.
And then, what about Trey? Where's Trey in this mix? Because Trey, to me, it's like Trey is almost like this is like a high school class, and Trey's like a 7-year-old. He's like so new, and he's got tons of talent and tons of upside.
Send him to the
tons
G
of
League.
development. You know what I mean?
Let's go
What's
back
that?
to our Europe leagues.
Send him
Football
to the
league
G
that we
League.
created the other night.
the
We got
European
30 team Euro league called the Krueg Show Euro League football. Let's see if we can patent that.
Here's the other thing. Purdy today, unreal. I'd way rather, I love a blowout. You got to show me you can blow someone out. Now, the things you got now, the checklist is like, I need to see you win a game when you don't have your best stuff. I need to see you just manage a game when you don't have it, because he's gonna
do a last minute drive in the fourth quarter,
and then or have to play while behind and try and bring a team back, or even just play in, even if they had the lead, just play in a close game where you have to fend the other team off. Just basically a competitive football game. Because
he did do that last week against Miami when it was 23-17 and they had to drive it down and get a field goal at least, or turn.
But I feel like everyone watching that game, even though Miami, all of a sudden, you could blink and all of a sudden, whoa, how did they get in this game? But it was like the Niners were in control of the whole game.
Yeah, they were. But that last drive, they had to 49ers, if they had to punt and turn it over to Miami.
So that I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about it's a back and forth game, just like a general football game that we see every week.
Yeah.
Really a fun game to watch. The other thing that's just amazing to watch is the 49ers lose Givens and they lose Hyder, and yet their D line just whipped Tampa's O-line up front, and just it's Brady had the ball was coming out fast. They were still getting to him and pressuring him, despite the fact he gets the ball out just in a nanosecond. I was impressed with the 49ers on defense. The guys that really stood out to me, Dre Greenlaw, and then Jimmy Ward in his new role where he's playing the slot receiver. He got matched up on Godwin. And I think there was, the Niners have struggled to defend the slot receiver. Heck, Trent Sherfield burned him out of the slot for a first quarter touchdown last week against the Dolphins. They've struggled all year against slot receivers. And Godwin, you figured with Brady getting rid of the ball quick, that Godwin could have just a monster day. And I know they hooked up a number of times, but I thought Jimmy Ward's coverage on Godwin was really good, considering Jimmy's a safety and hasn't played that much corner. And Godwin's a pretty shifty receiver and a couple years younger. So I thought Jimmy Ward played well. I really thought Bosa played well. The 49er defensive front controlled the game. But Dre Greenlaw, my God. You could have a hell of a debate between Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, who's the best Niner backer, because both those guys are crazy good. And I think the Niner linebacking trio gives this team kind of a swagger on the field that they feel like they're pretty badass, because they've got these three linebackers that can run, hit, cover, and just dominate that second level and snuff you out like a candle. The Bucs have been throwing to Rachaad White and Fournette a lot, and they threw to him a lot in this game. But they didn't get the big plays that I'm sure they were hoping for, because the Niners just snuffed it out.
How about there's some comments about Greenlaw in the chat. Greenlaw is the best linebacker in football. He says, did you see after the game he's
got the grizzly.
He got Brady to sign the ball that he intercepted.
Well, not only that, he he said a couple times this week, in the locker room, hey man, I want to get a pick from Brady. So, it was like a major goal of his. So I'm glad he got it done.
Yeah, Drake Jackson didn't get his sack though that he wanted really bad, did he? He didn't get his.
No, but we did talk to Drake for London.
They didn't have any sacks today, did they?
Bosa was this close to that one.
Oh, Brady's knee might have even been down. They didn't really review it. Shanahan would have had
for Sean and I's Nick Bosa Defensive Player of the Year back.
Yeah, that stuff. If he would have challenged it, it might have been. It was so close. It was like the replay looked like his knee might have been on the ground, but I'm not sure.
Also, one more thing, and I don't mean to just be going against the chat today, because I'm really not. It's just a minority of people that are annoying me. Just there's no reason to even bring up, except for like these fun little hypotheticals we're doing. There's no reason to even bring up or be bashing Jimmy G right now. Like, the guy was a total trooper for the team. He was a total stud that held this whole thing down. He's done so much for this team. This is almost definitely his last season here. It's probably his best season, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Really is a big bummer. All the guys on the team are super disappointed about it. But it's like, he is not involved in any of this. There's no, see, Jimmy, look at Jimmy is not that good. Purdy did that. Like, it's just like, that's stupid. Just like, chill out. I thought
it doesn't you can compliment one of these quarterbacks. I mean,
I said the same thing right before you got on.
I look at them all as Niner quarterbers.
Yeah.
It just happens to be. And like, I'm totally behind Trey, but like, kind of the people that like, are very like, tight on like, it's got to be Trey. Jimmy sucks. Those kind of people all said that they were just Trey fans and that Jimmy, it's the Jimmy weirdos that are going after them. Well, I don't think any Jimmy weirdos are out there doing anything right now. So, and this has nothing to do with Trey Lance. So just, can we all just celebrate Purdy?
Yeah, that's exactly what I tried to say before you got on. Really? Is that don't be on Jimmy. Jimmy is who Jimmy is. He's won a lot of football games for the 49ers.
Well, I think it's fair to discuss Jimmy, because at the end of the year, I mean, I think bringing Jimmy back and having Jimmy stay here is one of the options. And I think having Trey stay here is one of the options. And I think
we don't know how this story ends.
Stay here is one of the options. So, all these things, I mean, I think it's a fair discussion within the who stays, who goes, because they can't all stay. But I agree with you. You don't have to sit there and be like, hey, I think Purdy's good and Jimmy sucks, or something like that. Some people think it's a dumb question that I brought up, that it's obviously Purdy. But obviously it's not, because we're, Purdy's a young guy.
Before we
write
off
Purdy all day,
I'm for any quarterback the 49ers put out there that makes them win. Whether that's Trey, Jimmy, or Brock Purdy.
Robert says ride the hot hand.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great right now, and I hope he continues it. I'll say this: we don't know the final chapter, how this ends. I mean, we're writing
Jimmy's done now.
No, hear me out.
Really?
No, hear me out. That we don't know if Brock Purdy stays healthy, if they get to the NFC Championship, if he stays healthy. We had Joe Montana go down, and Steve Young, had Roger Craig not fumbled, would have been the quarterback in that Super Bowl against the against Buffalo. Yeah. I mean, and that would have Joe was out.
Tough game.
Yeah. So we don't know if Jimmy's season is over. He could, if Brock went down in
what was the report today? Wasn't there a report today that his season is indeed over?
Who? Jimmy's?
Garoppolo.
I don't think so.
I thought that.
What's that? Right?
It's all very muddled. Like they're leaving the back door open, but they don't want anybody in the media asking about it, because they want everyone to just get behind Brock.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's going to be Purdy all the way. Now, if Jimmy's not coming back to play unless if they make the Super Bowl, Brock would be the starting quarterback, but they would bring Jimmy back if he's healthy as the backup. They wouldn't.
I'm not talking about like, bringing Jimmy G back at the end of the season for like, half a game for the Super Bowl or something.
I'm talking about next year.
Oh yeah, I understand next year, but I'm saying.
But I don't necessarily think that is the case, because one, I think you're presuming that there's going to be a burgeoning market for Jimmy, and I don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, there definitely is. Think about how horrible the QB play is this year.
No, I know there's a lot of teams that need guys, but God, I mean, you could have had Jimmy G with a reasonable trade offer this summer, and nobody seemed to go forward with it.
Because everyone was. It was the shoulder.
Was it the contract, or
it was the shoulder?
No, it was the shoulder, and it was also just everyone already had their QBs. But like you saw, just like a couple games in the season, it was like, oh my God! Like we did the thing the other day where it was like, yeah, there's probably not 10 QBs that have played better than Jimmy this year. So it's like, the Colts would love Jimmy G. The Jets would love Jimmy G. The Giants would love Jimmy G. The Panthers would love Jimmy G.
I mean, it's a beauty in the eye of the beholder type situation. I wonder how many teams. I wonder how many teams like if you put these guys all out there right
Patriots.
now, if you said, "Hey, I'm trading Jimmy," how many teams would actually be interested? If I'm trading Trey, how many teams would actually be interested? And if you said you were going to trade Purdy and go with Trey, how many teams would be interested in Purdy? It's hard to know, because these are so quarterbacks at different stages of development and everybody's and it's so individual. Teams some teams want that young mercurial athlete. Some guys want the pocket passer. Some guys want the veteran. They feel like they're ready to win right now. So I don't know how NFL teams would view the Niner quarterbacks in trade. And then when you're watching them every day, it's also hard to kind of separate yourself from who would fetch the most in a trade if they were all, potentially available in a trade. I would probably offer the most for Purdy because I believe in Purdy, but it's probably Trey, right? Because of his draft position and age. Wouldn't you say that Trey would bring a great, even though he hasn't proven it yet, and he's had some glimpses of good things and some glimpses of rawness. I still think his age and his athletic profile, I think he would still probably bring you the most in a trade at the end of the year.
You could probably convince a team to trade you for a first rounder for Trey still. Yeah. Jimmy, I mean, nobody's going to trade for Jimmy at this point. He's going to get signed.
Well, they can't trade him. Yeah, I mean, he's the one guy that can't trade. But I mean, I don't know how teams would value a guy like Purdy either. I mean, he was a 7th round pick and he's played a couple games. Do they view the league view him as, you know what, Shanahan? He looks good in Shanahan's system.
Yeah,
but he's not really a good quarterback. The one thing that bothers me, I guess, is we have so many people in our world who are constantly walking around saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its cover." And then immediately they see Brock Purdy and they're like, "Mullins, he's Mullins." I mean, these are people that never watched him play a single college game. They look at him, a couple passes, Mullins.
Hey,
he has a good game. Mullins had a good game.
There's a 95-7 game host out there. I don't know if I should name him, but he put it out there, so I'll name it. He put it out there in a tweet that Seneca Wallace was the best quarterback at Iowa State. That was from Bonta Hill. He said Seneca. He made a comment like, "Wow, something about Brock Purdy. Where'd this guy come from? Didn't see this in camp or something like that." And then the comment was that he threw in the next comment that Seneca Wallace was the best quarterback. Seneca Wallace has had 20.
Brock Purdy has 32 Iowa State school records.
Yeah, Seneca Wallace had a horrible statistics if you look at his interceptions.
I mean, he probably had a good run at Iowa State. I mean,
he had 27 touchdown passes and 26 interceptions in 2 years, 55% completion. Come on.
I mean, Brock was 72
his senior year, 72. Unbelievable difference. I mean, it's just like, and you're going to say Seneca Wallace, a backup quarterback for the what?
Maybe he's related to Seneca Wallace.
I was like, come on.
Maybe Seneca Wallace is a friend. I don't know.
I don't know. To me, it's just like
I have no idea. I cannot defend or attack Mr. Hill.
I'm not attacking. Well, I guess I am. I'm saying that was just not a good.
Well, you just disagree. I mean, he
says
Seneca Wallace, and you're saying it's Purdy.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, just eye test.
What do you think what do you guys think? We've all watched a lot of football. What do you think? You know the old saying, you know what? Calm down. The league will get a feel for who he is and what he does and how he's succeeding and what his weakness is. And then they'll make the adjustments and it will be, they'll turn off his water, so on and so forth. What do you think, based on what you've seen of Brock Purdy, NFL defensive coordinators will try to do to him to make him uncomfortable and to beat him? What do you think what's the game plan? Because Tampa sent 5 and 6 man rushes at him, or Miami sent 5 and 6 man rushes at him. Tampa did it a little less, but they also sent some exotics. He he's handling the pressure well. He seems like he sees it clearly and has a plan. I don't know. What do you think? What are defensive coordinators going to try to do to Brock to take him out of his game?
I think whatever they try to do, Kyle will do something to offset it. I mean, it's pretty difficult. I mean, it's kind of a bummer that they lost Debo because that's a huge weapon they've lost. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to stack the box and throw some different looks at him, having some blitzes come from different, whether it be corner blitz or linebackers up the middle, throwing stuff at him to make him get rid of the ball quickly. And I would not be surprised to see the Niners, if Debo's obviously out, Danny Gray on some go routes.
He caught a ball today.
He finally caught his first ball, on a slant. But I want to see Danny Gray on a go route and
I do too.
Throwing it over the top, and then all of a sudden the defense is like, oh crap. Now we can't stack the box and go one-on-one,
Seriously, take them out of their 12-yard shell game by taking the top off the defense with Gray and making their safeties backpedal with some urgency. I agree.
Yes.
I agree. That's a great way to do it. I mean, Calba donates $10. His atmosphere was electric. The thing I love most about Purdy is how quickly he gets rid of the ball when defenses bring pressure. He doesn't panic, and he's able to deliver the ball accurately. He definitely shows a lot of poise in the pocket. Too much rocking out with my Brock out.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about? I do like he was firing the crowd up, and he fired us up. That's why he's a total main character. Like he is a quarterback personality.
They were chanting Purdy.
Yeah, they were chanting Purdy, but like I don't know.
Parents, you guys probably didn't see it.
No, yeah, the crying.
Yeah, the crying.
No, I didn't see that.
His dad started crying.
Dad was the whole game. He was they kept showing parents
awesome,
and brother,
man.
and dad had tears in his eyes. And
I mean, could you imagine that, dude? Now, Rye's a little young. Danny and I have older kids, so we can probably imagine that. But could you imagine how cool that would be? To me, like the Giants this year were a colossal bore. But I'll tell you, when they would call up a guy, and I don't even care if he was any good,
right?
And that guy's, families in the stands,
exactly.
And they're showing the guy, and they're showing the family, and they're showing the guy, and they're showing the family. I can relate to that, man, because you know what? Anybody who goes and plays pro ball, mom and dad drove you to a lot of practices.
I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of that in 23. Family and friends at Oracle. That'll be about it.
What's that?
I said, I think we'll see a lot of that in 23 with a lot of young guys coming up, and the only people in the stands are going to be family and friends.
Great. Yeah. By the way, I said Jimmy had a good playoff game. Guys are calling me on that saying Jimmy has never had a good playoff game. Wait a second. Never had a good playoff game? He looked pretty good in the NFC Championship game going to the Super Bowl, right? I mean, it was a run dominated game plan.
Yeah, he's had pretty good games. I mean,
he hasn't had the
game. No.
Yeah.
Who'd they beat in game 1 last year before Dallas?
Dallas.
Was it Dallas? I thought it was.
Then Green Bay.
Oh, then Green Bay. Okay, that's right. And then they lost to the Rams. Yeah. Okay.
By the way, today we didn't even talk about that, but around the NFL today, man, I mean, several teams around the NFL who look like contenders maybe aren't contenders. Like, are the Minnesota Vikings really that good?
I changed my mind on the Vikings as far as being a only reason I had them in there.
Just take this week and talk about Super Bowl contenders. Are the Buffalo Bills this invincible team? They could barely beat the Jets.
Not invincible, but
are
Jets
the Bengals and people talk about the Bengals are this hot team to watch in the AFC. They won today, but it wasn't that convincing. Dallas needed life and death to beat the Texans at home.
Yeah,
the Titans
Houston
lost at home to the Jaguars. The Eagles look great. But the Chiefs, a lot of people think the Chiefs are the overwhelming team in the league. They're 10-3. They're life and death to beat Denver. Seattle lost to the Panthers. The Dolphins lost to the Chargers. You know what I mean? There were several teams that people were describing as kind of chic Super Bowl contenders that are leaving week 14 going, what the hell happened?
Yeah, there's just no team. There's no real teams this year that are just like you know what it is? There, you have to have the team married to the coach, married to the quarterback in order to like have these dominant teams that you can really trust. And it's like there's just not that many of like the Belichick, Patriot Brady situation. Like that's, now I guess you have it with Mahomes. They're about the only ones. Like they kind of remind me a little bit of like maybe this year or last year's Warriors team. Maybe this year's Warriors team. I'm not sure. Like it's like, Curry, but like they're not quite as loaded. They don't have Tyreek, but like, they've got the experience. Like if you had to put your money on someone, you'd bet on them to come out of the AFC. And then the NFC, it's like, I don't know, the Eagles are maybe like the Boston Celtics. Like I could see them absolutely explode at any moment in the playoffs, but they're dominant right now. They, in theory, are dominant.
Yeah. Oh, they're running the hell out of it. Oregon Life says Brock is only 22. At this trajectory, we are a dynasty again. If you think Brock, I'll say this, the most interesting quote to me was Bosa saying, we found a quarterback. Or did he say we found a quarterback or we've got a quarterback? He either said we found a quarterback or we found our quarterback or we got a quarterback or something, but it was very matter of fact. And
yeah, I don't think it's like some great like they're just kind of like, yeah, like our team's freaking loaded. We have weapons everywhere as long as Brock doesn't like F this thing up. And then all of a sudden they're like, wait, Brock's actually a little doper than I once realized. Oh wait, this guy's a guy. I'll go into battle with this guy.
Yeah. It is weird, but it really hit me when we were down there this week that I didn't get any vibe from anybody. Now, pro athletes don't do the woe is me shit. They don't go, oh, we're probably going to get killed. That's not the way they operate. So I get it. But there are indications of like reality. And believe me, if Brock goes down this week, knock on wood, he's not, but and the season was all about Jacob Eason and Josh Johnson, there would be a feeling in the room like, hey man, like our story's been written. Like, can you believe the injuries we faced this year? And guys wouldn't be using it as an excuse, but you would have that element in the discussion. This team doesn't have any vibe at all of the season's cooked. We can't do this. We're not going to be able to do this. This quarterback is not going to be able to do this. But Bosa said something earlier today that I thought was also really interesting. They were asking him about Brock, and he's like, well, you're rooting for him, and you're always hoping that he can be the guy and he can do the best he can do. But you never know what you have until the bullets are flying and guys in real game action, and you can see if he can stand up to NFL defenses. Right. And he was very matter of fact about it, but it was like the players themselves, guys, they have one level of evaluating in practice. I'm sure another level for the preseason and a totally different level for beating Tom Brady and the Buccaneers coming down the stretch in December. So in some ways, I bet you Brock not only won over fans today, but probably won over guys in that room who were like, I like him and I'm rooting for him and he seems like a humble, nice guy, but I don't know if he can get the job done. But I bet you there's guys going home going, son of a bitch, I bet you this guy can get the job done.
This is another thing I forgot. And maybe this may just be wild speculation on my part. I'm not reporting anything, but I did, when I was in the locker room with Drake, right. I looked over and I saw Fred Warner was talking to some media guy. And he was like, I assumed it was about Brock, but he was like, what'd I tell you? He's like, what? I wasn't lying, was I? I wasn't lying, was I? Like about, and I'm assuming it's like that Brock quote. Like he's a real guy. Like whatever. And maybe that guy off camera was like, oh, come on, you really think that? And So
the other thing, the other take, guys, that really floored me because I thought it was so colossally stupid, and I heard it. If I heard it once this week, I heard it like 4 different times on multiple different radio stations.
let me guess. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. No, I'm joking.
No, the idea that last week was the best that it could get for Brock Purdy, and that this week he was going to get his comeuppance. And I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Last week is like the surprise quiz.
I heard you say this week is the final. I mean,
this week is the final. This is the week that you got to study and prepare, right?
Yep.
Last week, it's just like, hey, the teacher walks into the room. All right, we're having a pop quiz. Everybody take out a piece of paper and a pencil. Well, there's all kinds of people that don't do great on the pop quiz, but then when the test gets scheduled, hammer it. Why? Because they studied. And it's the same thing in football. I mean, coming off the bench is the pop quiz. And having a whole week of reps with the number ones and all those reps with your receivers on the routes they're going to run in the games as part of the Shanahan developed game plan specific for the Bucs. All that field work time makes you better. So this idea that like last week against Miami was somehow some magical thing, and this week he was going to suck because Tampa was going to have time to prepare for him. Yeah, but he was going to have time to prepare for them.
Yeah, and he
nobody factored that in. I thought he was way better this week.
He destroyed one of the top defenses in the league. I mean, he literally. I mean, they just destroyed him. But Niner guy,
might be
we get to this
also.
$10 donation here?
Yeah, Purdy reminds me a lot of Tony Romo. Purdy is a better athlete. Romo had a better arm, but the improvisation and the accuracy looked really similar. Excited for the 23 quarterback competition for Purdy and Lance. What were you gonna say, Ryan?
Romo was. I thought young Romo was really athletic.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I think it's a good comparison because he wasn't Romo undrafted.
He tried out for the Mavericks in basketball. Like he was like an all-state, like could have played basketball in college athlete.
Yeah,
I mean, hey, thanks for the donation, by the way.
Yeah.
No, $10. Hey, thank you. But I would say that, I mean, there's some athleticism that Romo had. I do think that, this thing plays out. This week is very important to me. And I think the Niners, Kyle sees it. You win this game Thursday night, you have the division's wrapped up. Literally wrapped up.
Right. They clinch it, right?
They clinch, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is why this is an
and
important
they can rest
game.
guys, and they're going to need to rest guys.
That's what I'm saying. You can rest guys. You don't have to even worry about bringing Debo back until the playoffs. You can
go out on New Year's Eve in Vegas and then just show up and whatever happens.
Hey, if Brock is able to go Thursday and he gets through, he guts it out, and he's got an oblique that needs time, and they win, give him the Washington game off. And, if he's still hurting, if he's 100%, play him. But if he's still kind of got, still bothering him, if you win the division, you can give Purdy that week off and let Josh Johnson have a game. And there's so many advantages. A couple years ago when they went to the Super Bowl, they lost to Atlanta down the stretch at home, and then they had to go into that Seattle game.
On the Julio Jones catching the goal line.
At the goal line, yeah. So they went into the Seattle game. It made that game urgent. It was like, it had to win or they were going to be the wild card. So you don't want to go into the last couple games.
I mean, that's a tough place to play, and this is going to be Brock making his first NFL road start in Seattle with all that noise, and they're desperate.
Thursday.
Because, guys, I don't know about you guys, but I think this is a pivotal game for Seattle. If the Niners decimate them and take them apart Thursday night,
they're done.
They may just slide right out of the playoff picture.
Oh, they will, because
they get Kansas City the next week.
Yeah, next week in Kansas City. Yeah.
I think Miami and Seattle are the teams in both division conferences that have been really good and have been great stories this year, and I still think they could both make the playoffs, maybe win a game, but they're both in danger of sliding out. Seattle, I mean, Seattle, they kind of needed that game today. Now it's
How about them Lions?
how about them Panthers? Yeah, them Lions are coming. And
Lions are playing hard, man.
Lions are 6-7. They're a game out.
I don't care if you got one ass cheek and 3 fingers. I'm gonna kick your ass. Wasn't that his line this summer in Hard Knocks?
Oh yeah, biting up
Jared Goff today.
My
Jared
my
Goff
13-year-old is
is
like, Dad, I don't care if you got one ass cheek and 3 fingers. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Jared Goff, Cal quarterback, is starting.
He's having
to
a great year.
Look like the former number 1 pick that he was with the Rams.
He's clean and he has time, and it's in
he's very accurate.
Good.
Gets in a rhythm.
They got Jameson Williams now too, who's a big time home run hitter.
Yeah,
for Bama. Senior softball game says Purdy is doing great, but the reason this offense has gone to that next level is because of Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, that is the reality.
True or false?
I mean, I do think that Jimmy was playing at a very high level for Jimmy. Like he was like 16 touchdowns, 4 picks, and he had I feel like he maybe had 1 pick since the Kansas City game. I think he had 1 pick in the Kansas City game, and that's it. And that was McCaffrey's first game.
Yeah, CMC is the offensive MVP of this team.
Yeah. Oh, and then also look, Debo goes out, and now the season's not over. It's like the Jenga stack thing. It's like McCaffrey allows you to survive 6 weeks of no Debo.
McCaffrey
you got Danny Gray sitting there. Danny Gray ran 4.28 or whatever. Put him on the freaking field and throw him the goddamn ball. Seriously, I want to see Danny Gray down the field.
I want to see that too. I do too. I think Seattle and other teams are going to stack the box more to try and just confuse. They're going to be shifting in and out of different coverages. At the line of scrimmage, they're going to try and confuse.
Imagine if you added a home run hitter, Danny, to what they got.
Oh yeah, I mean, I want to see Danny Gray. I saw him.
He's legit.
He's not just a speedster go route guy. He catches balls over the middle. He's a tough guy. When I look back at the highlights of him at SMU, he was all over the field. He wasn't just running up and down like
look at this
go
one.
routes.
First of all, Eric says I love Purdy's family reaction. Corey Cooper, who's becoming one of my favorites. Corey's awesome. Purdy's the best thing that's happened to Farhan's offseason.
Sean Mania, by the way.
Yeah.
What about Sean Mania?
He's a Giant now.
Oh, he
signed?
is?
2 years, something. I don't.
What?
Yeah, I just saw it on Twitter.
Really?
I
like that. I like that move. Now, a lot of people would say they don't like that move because he had a 5.90 ERA last year. But what did they pay him? They probably didn't pay him anything.
25 mil.
What is it? 25 mil?
I'm going to look it up. I
don't know what that.
2 years, 25 total with an opt
12.
Oh, it's the same basic deal he gave kind of in the Cobb DeScalfani or what ticks me off?
Are you sure about that? I'm not seeing that, by the way. Supposedly the Giants are not currently considering Chris Bassett.
Yep, it is. Here it is. Alex Pavlovich, 2 minutes. Sean Mania to the Giants. 2 years with an opt-out.
We should probably hold on that until the end of the show. Or
2 years opt-out. Same deal that Rodon got.
We're not going to talk a lot of Giants baseball now.
I want to say one thing about the Giants real quick while I've got 500
before we empty the room.
No.
We got 550 people in the room who want to talk Niners, and you're going to make some giant
Cody
points.
Bellinger. You could have had
I'm getting ready
Cody
to mute
Bellinger.
All right, we're at 554.
We're at 550.
Okay.
Could have had Bellinger. And
if he gets to 549, you're done.
Just give him a few more $1 million. My goodness. You wanted him.
There you go. Mute. 549. That's it. That alone. We even dabbled in baseball. And the audience is like, wait a second, these guys seem old and tired.
You're putting me to sleep.
You're putting me to sleep. Talk Purdy. God damn it. Let me ask you this. Did Jerry Rice, is Jerry Shanahan more because he's an all-time great and he has a lot of power to shape the opinions of Niner Nation? Not the website, but the fan base. You know what I'm saying? did
He's
Jerry
emotionally
cross a
invested in
line
the
by
team.
basically saying, "Hey, Shanahan, don't run Debo between the tackles, damn it,"
He's
and
just
being a
frustrated.
fan? He's kind of reacting like a fan. But
Yeah.
if like, are you cool with Jerry doing what Jerry did?
I mean, I don't like it at all. I mean, he included Jimmy G in there as if Jimmy G was running up the middle. Like Jimmy G got sacked. Like whatever. That had nothing to do with it. And Debo, I mean, Jerry, I know you didn't run between the tackles, but I mean, part of his deal does it. And yeah, I mean, I do. Shanahan, he's a stubborn bastard. He's just going to run his shit. And he's going to be very slow to let rookies come on. I mean, it is vindicating. I got to say that like Jordan Mason, like since camp, it's like he's looked like the best running back. I don't know.
Let's talk to him. Let's talk to him on Tuesday.
Yeah, let's do it.
I like Jordan
Do I
Mason.
address
I
him as
love
Jordan.
What do
Or
you guys think of him? What do you think of the way he ran today?
I mean, it's like
He's a beast.
Yeah, he looks like a mini. I asked him if he was 24 because of Marshawn. Because
right, you did. What? And he said no. He said
no. It was some other. It was just some random.
Dude,
reason.
he ran at G-Tech with that kid Gibbs who transferred to Bama.
Yeah,
who was like the sickest running back in the country this year.
He's the best offensive player on Alabama, and they're like, so it's like it's no problem, dude.
You shared with Gibbs. I mean, I'll say this. I love watching Mason because he's so powerful. He takes some big hits and just kind of runs through them. I mean, he's fun to watch, man. I mean, he kind of reminds me of like that guy Hilliard who plays behind Derrick Henry in Tennessee. I mean, he's a big, powerful back, but he's not a fullback. He's a running back.
He was super cool too. He was like, cool. I mean, I was just running through freaking gaping holes. Like, it was.
And I started talking to him about how I watched him in college. He's like, really, man? Really? And like, yeah, I've seen you play him a number of times. So next week we'll get him on. He's wonderful, man. He really is. I mean, he's obviously a really young guy, but he's getting an opportunity. He had an opportunity to go other places and chose to be a Niner because he wanted to run in this offense. And his agent told him, I think he said the Raiders showed interest, a couple other teams, he said. And he said once his agent found out that the Niners were interested, that he was like, you're going there.
Yeah. I mean, it's smart. If you're an agent, where does an that's undrafted running back heaven? If anything, you don't want to be like the second round draft pick that goes there.
And that's a good agent, man. Yeah. It's a good agent. If your agent knows that Shanahan uses backs, develops backs, has underrated backs. I mean, you could make an argument. I mean, Ty Davis-Price is not on the field, but Jordan Mason is. And Ty Davis-Price was a third-round pick. Trey Sermon's traded. He was a third-round pick. Elijah Mitchell was a sixth-round pick. He might be the best back outside of McCaffrey. So
they're so fire at drafting late in the draft, but it's so bad at the beginning.
Vicky Pellich says Purdy will be a top 10 quarterback in 2023. The difference between Purdy and Jimmy G is that Purdy will get better game to game and season to season. I will say this. Jimmy was playing really well this year. So, I mean, take that for what it is, right? I mean, he was playing really well this season. He had minimized the turnovers. He was throwing the ball away. I personally think that, I mean, what's Jimmy known for? Jimmy's known for, having that incredible record and turning it over. And if he doesn't turn it over, he's a lot better player. By the way, coming into today, how big was this win for Brock Purdy? The 49ers, with any other quarterback besides Jimmy Garoppolo playing for Kyle Shanahan, coming into today were 9-29. So now they are 10-29. I mean, think about that. Shanahan has not been able to win at all.
Didn't they go like 0-9 or 0-10 to start his tenure in 2017? 0-9.
Or was it 0-8? And they won a game with C.J. Beathard.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
But Vicky Pellich in danger of being eliminated from the playoffs. She needs a big night tomorrow night from Nick Folk. She needs 10 points to knock out Nick Martinez.
We have people
Otherwise-
quoting Die Hard. Hans, booby, I'm your white knight. Okay, you can
Romo.
you have to watch a Die Hard. Do you watch the original Nakatomi Plaza, Die Hard 2, where they started crashing airplanes outside of Dulles, Die Hard with a Vengeance, where basically Hans's brother comes back and Samuel Jackson, they're on a goose chase, or something more recent? What is the best Die Hard?
I got to say just the first one.
First one, original.
Yeah, that one or the second. Probably the
Lorenzo
first.
Pinto says $2. Shout to Larry. Called it since day one. Brock Purdy, thank you. $2 donation for that.
Per dog.
Purdy all day. Thomas B.
I mean, I think that a real discussion this week will probably happen around, do you maybe just hold Purdy out this week he said he's not sure. He said it's going to depend on how he feels tomorrow. But like, if it's like anything that could be re-aggravated, I mean, whatever, man. Win the division versus Washington.
I mean, he's got, what has he got? He's got a
oblique.
What happened to Rye? Rye just zapped.
I don't know. Hey, Fade.
Zapped. And he's gone.
Hey.
Let's see. We've got this one, the Car Gods. What happened to all you guys agreeing with Grant Cohn that Brock Purdy was not making the team a few months ago?
Nobody said that.
Never agreed. Didn't sign up for that.
You might want to check the
There you go.
The YouTube shorts out there where Larry is on record on this show is saying that Brock Purdy is a lock to make the 53-man roster.
Tavarius, calm down with the Purdy hype. There's a reason he's Mr. Irrelevant. Trey didn't have CMC to play with. All right. I'm not saying Trey's bad, by the way. I think Trey's a good prospect, but there's just a lot of development. There's a lot of development that has to come with playing. And
It also
and it's just going to take a little time. I think what you're seeing though with Purdy makes me think that the Niners may be able to go on a deep playoff run. If they can go on a deep playoff run with Purdy, you may see them trade Trey Lance.
It also has to do with the system. Trey Lance doing maybe what Buffalo does or Chicago, maybe is, we're talking about Trey Lance as, this amazing quarterback. But Kyle's system is about quick reads, get rid of the ball quick, and this
Be accurate.
Be accurate. I said this afternoon after watching the game. Purdy may be the best quarterback that Kyle, and I'm including Matt Ryan, that he may be the best type of quarterback for Kyle's system. That 1 year with Ryan was pretty good though, because Ryan was mobile, a lot more quicker. But
well, I mean, if you think about it, it's like, I know, but a lot of people point to the deep. Oh, they threw it a lot, deep, a ton. It's like, look at the weapons. Like the Niners, collection of weapons. To best utilize them, you throw short and you get yards at a run after the catch, and that's how you do it. I mean, that's how their weapons are awesome, but that's what their weapons are best at. Matt Ryan had Julio Jones, who's like probably
and Mohamed Sanu in his prime.
Yeah, absolute prime. Like that guy is a freak. Was a freak. Yeah, an absolute freak. People forget. He almost, like, the Patriots had that comeback, but Julio, I thought that he iced the game with all the pressure on Falcons with that insane catch on the sidelines. But
did you guys see, by the way, Eric Branch bring up to Shanahan in the postgame presser that his last loss to Brady was in the Super Bowl?
Why?
I heard that.
And he's like, I don't want to. What do you say? I don't want to be an asshole or what?
Jerk.
I don't want to be a jerk. And Shanahan's like, you're not being a jerk.
It's just facts.
It's just facts. I mean, it's like, dude, how many coaches would be like, you are a jerk, thanks for bringing that up. that Shanahan showed that he's a pretty cool guy to be able to just roll with that. And also, come on, Eric Branch is definitely a nice guy. He's a hard guy to be like, you're a jerk, Branch.
I think
Tavarius says Brian Greasy. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was gonna say, I think it's true though. I sort of brought up like how like the Kyle angle of this, that like, this could be, kind of a really a big accomplishment for Kyle if he could get Brock Purdy to the Super Bowl. And I mean, even
in
if
some ways,
in
some way, I mean, who would emerge? This is a great one. Who would emerge as the bigger star if Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, 7th round pick, wins the Super Bowl? Would it be Purdy, or would it be Shanahan, who would be hailed as the greatest coach in the history of the world because he won a Super Bowl with his 3rd string quarterback? Every time they talk about great coaches, Shanahan would have a seat at the table with, he did win a Super Bowl back in 2023 with a 3rd string quarterback. Ain't nobody done that. You know what I mean? And then people would be like, yeah, you know what? Bob's right. In a way, Shanahan will always have like a seat at the who's the best coach table if Purdy wins the Super Bowl this year.
Well, think about how the narrative.
Amazing.
I know, and think about how the narrative has changed psychologically for Kyle. Coming in, he had all of this pressure. It's like, oh crap, I have to win now, but I also have to develop Trey. And okay, all right, we'll try simplifying this. And then it was like it seemed like he kind of took a breath finally when he's like, all right, okay, now we're back to Jimmy. But then once they started winning with Jimmy, it's like, oh crap, now I have the same expectations I had last year, which means we have to, it's like kind of Super Bowl or bust, like probably Jimmy's last year, we got to start signing all these guys. Like we have to win the Super Bowl. Now with Purdy, I think secretly they all still think that they, have pretty much the same chance to win the Super Bowl. But as far as the narrative goes and the narrative pressure, it's like, Kyle, dude, Kyle's playing with free money right now. There's no longer this massive burden that he has to, make it back to the NFC Championship or win the NFC Championship. Like now it's like if he makes to the NFC Championship with Purdy, I think that's a freaking awesome season and he should be commended. And I think it'll be a notch on his belt.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to cook a little. I think he's going to coach a little looser. That's how it felt today. I don't know if it was Brock or Kyle or a combination, but and Brock also is the guy who's had the playbook the longest. He might even be doing some Trey stuff that, Trey and Purdy, they were running all of that stuff in the preseason. And then Jimmy got, thrown in and it seemed like they went back to the Jimmy playbook. Maybe they're running some other stuff. I don't know. Maybe Brock's wheels allow him to do it.
I think they definitely see, in the pocket today when it started to collapse, Purdy was able to quickly escape it, and then he was either able to run or throw the ball. We didn't see as much of that. For some reason, Trey's game, when I look at Trey is a better runner when he gets out in the open field, but he doesn't escape the pocket as quickly as what Purdy
does have a little bit of that Mahomes, where Mahomes is not a big time runner, but Mahomes has this like 5-step escapability.
Yeah, it's
it's hard to get him.
Yeah.
And Purdy's got that same kind of, he's not gonna run away from you either, but he's got like 5 steps of quickness where he kind of is elusive.
Speaking of Mahomes, did you see the sick play he made today?
No.
Okay, I got to pull it up.
That's the only thing about being on the
I don't know.
Dan,
I don't think I'll be able to play that one. That's a little too.
I can play it on my phone then, right?
Yes.
Ben Affleck's double chin donates $2. Hey, Larry, golf or Purdy? Just kidding. Or am I? Oh, I like that. Do we know if he's serious or is he kidding? I'll say this. The Purdy thing does make the 49ers situation really interesting, doesn't it? From the standpoint of they now have, multiple quarterbacks on rookie deals that they could go with and save a ton of money. I mean, they don't have to have a veteran quarterback at all. They could have Purdy backing up Trey if they want to go with Trey. They could have Trey backing up Purdy if they want to go with Purdy. I mean, what do you think that Purdy and Trey is a workable combo into the future? Or do you think, guys, that's not good because they're both young guys at the same point who want the same thing, and
Hey,
it's not really like Jimmy and Trey?
Why not have two guys under rookie deals?
I mean, it's the best thing you can do for your cap. There's no doubt.
Exactly. You don't have to. I mean, Purdy.
Because now you can re-sign Bosa and
what is
Debo and
Purdy
everybody else.
Purdy on the league minimum?
They're both on the league minimum.
Well, Trey's is higher, though, because of his being drafted so high, right?
I mean, maybe this sounds super whack, but like, even if ultimately you still think that, like, you know, Trey's gonna get there, it's just gonna take some time, and he's like, you know, can turn into a Ferrari. Maybe this may just give you the confidence, be like, look, man, we're good. We don't need to sign a veteran quarterback next year.
No, you could go with both of those guys.
Start Purdy. Let Trey come back from his injury. No pressure, dude. You're just going to practice. We need you practicing. And you're going to practice for like a whole year.
Hey, how about today? Houston almost beat Dallas by playing both.
How did they do that?
They were playing both Driscoll and the Stanford kid. I'm drawing a blank. The quarterback from Stanford.
Davis Mills.
I wanted to say Davis. Davis Mills. I couldn't remember his last name. They played both Mills and Driscoll. It was situational. It was kind of strange, but they played really well. They were playing fired up defense. They had the ball on the 1 or 2 yard line of Dallas, and they couldn't get it in. And Dallas drove 98 yards to get the winning touchdown. Just they had it. It was just ridiculous. They couldn't get it.
I mean, Steve-O says Krug. Jimmy G might be Purdy, but Purdy has a big Jimmy. Oh God!
I had to read that one twice before I got it.
All right, watch this play.
Nice.
I'm gonna show this without volume on this play from Mahomes today. This
I'm showing off.
Unbelievable.
Don't get it. If you get us kicked off,
there's no sound. Wait, he probably couldn't see it. He was running to the side and he just flicked it to McKinnon. And it looked like he was going to run, and all of a sudden he threw. There it is. Watch this. He just threw it over like a loaf of bread over his shoulder. He just threw it over his shoulder, and nobody does that. Nobody does what Mahomes can do. He's such a great athlete. I mean, he just has such a feel for the game, and certain guys. Josh Allen, he's another guy that does crazy things. Aaron Rodgers. I just think when I watch Purdy today for a full game.
Is he Heineke? Somebody says Purdy's better than Heineke.
No. He's way better than Heineke.
Heineke's kind of good, dude. I don't know. What would Heineke be in this offense? It could be pretty good.
We're going to see Heineke.
Yeah, in this offense, this offense is going to make guys look better. But when I look at Brock Purdy at Iowa State, and I see his highlights, and I watch him, he'll occasionally make the risky throw, and it gets picked off. But he does have that moxie, that moxie of just like, I've got it. He's, we look at Brady for the last 20 plus years he's been playing, and we see, the GOAT, and we see what Brady is. But we got to remember, when Brady came into the league, Brady was a 6th round, slow-footed guy from Michigan that wasn't even, the star that great until his last year. He had a really good year at Michigan, but he wasn't looked upon. So I'm not saying at all that Purdy's going to be Tom Brady, but they have intangibles similar in that they both are, played in big conferences, and they both have been, kind of overlooked. And this is something that Brady had to fight in, high school going to Michigan. He was somewhat overlooked. Purdy was overlooked as a quarterback coming out of Arizona. And, these guys carry this with them, and it fuels them. So I'm not going to say that Brock Purdy's going to have this Tom Brady. He may be, like Jeremy Lin. I don't know. He may.
Somebody in the chat said that. Did you see that earlier?
Yeah, I saw
somebody
it.
in the chat said that,
and it
Brock Purdy's Jeremy Lin.
It could be. You never know.
Okay, let's talk about that for just a second. Jeremy Lin was like a cultural phenomena. Came out of nowhere. Actually went to Stanford. Warriors had him. I went to Harvard, I should say. Warriors had him on their team. And then he somehow winds up with the Knicks, and then just starts. I mean, that was like Linsanity was one of the weirdest sports things of our life. I mean, the 30 for 30 on Linsanity should be pretty damn good, don't you guys think? I mean, that was almost unexplainable, but that was like a guy who came out of nowhere, kind of lit everybody up, but it wasn't like really fully legit. I think. To say he's Linsanity is an insult. I think he's far more legit than Jeremy Lin. Brock Purdy's a more legit NFL player than Jeremy Lin was an NBA point guard. Would you agree? I mean, Jeremy Lin seemed like a turnover machine as a point guard, but everybody's like, oh, Linsanity. And he was a good guy and everything, but I think that was more. I don't know. What do you guys make of Linsanity compared to what we're seeing with Purdy? I mean, Purdy is a young guy getting an opportunity with great weapons and a great offensive coach. And in a lot of ways, he's just like the right guy in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, I seriously, and maybe I'm too high on Minshew, but I don't know. It reminds me of like Minshew, if Minshew, got drafted by an elite franchise and just, all of a sudden started playing. Like he reminds me of like if Minshew, I guess, got picked up by the Niners in the 6th round. Like if Minshew was Mullins.
I was hoping they was going to trade for Minshew last year.
I mean, the Eagles, the reason why I bet on the Eagles was not because of Jalen Hurts. It was because I legitimately thought if Jalen Hurts got injured, that there was no step down to Minshew. So that that's an extra security. Like, I don't understand why people aren't trading for Minshew, honestly, right now. But yeah, he kind of reminds me of Minshew.
Well, the trade deadline, is come and gone, right? Hasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
the Recovery 716 said, here's the 199. It's Jerry's opinion. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, I don't know. My whole thing is just that Jerry's not just a fan. I know Jerry is a fan, but Jerry's more than a fan. And it's like, do you want, I'm sure the organization pays Jerry to do all kinds of appearances. Does the organization really want Jerry inciting the fans against the head coach because Debo got hurt in a sport where it's 100% injury sport? I don't know. I mean, I didn't like it either. And I said it at the start of the show. So I guess I'm with Jerry, but maybe it's different if guys like us put it out there as opposed to Jerry. I don't know.
Yeah, might be a little.
Like, would Kapler mind it more if like he got ripped on the Krueg show, or if Willie Mays said, "Hey, you know what? Your double switch in the 6th was idiotic." You know what I mean? I mean, would it? You know what I'm saying? If Willie says it, it's like, oh man, you just got called out by Willie Mays. I mean, that's what Jerry Rice is. Jerry Rice might be the greatest that ever played.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
the sport. I mean, he's the greatest receiver for sure, but he may be the greatest. Just
he might have let his emotions get to him. Just fired something off. And
Lorenzo Pinto says, "You guys skipped my super chat. Are you sure? What time, Lorenzo? Where is it? Did you guys see a super chat from Lorenzo in here?"
Oh, sorry about that, Lorenzo. We'll find it.
I'll find it, Lorenzo. Hate to skip the super chats. That's
not to keep going back to Minshew, but I just wanted to look up some of his.
Are you related in any way to Minshew?
I know, right? Okay.
What if we found out that Rye was really related to Minshew? Okay, here we go. Lorenzo Pinto. Shout to Larry. Called it since day one. Brock Purdy.
Oh, that was a while ago. I remember I was going to put that up. I remember seeing that.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Wait, what would you guess Gardner Minshew's touchdown to interception ratio is?
This year or career?
His career. He's played in 23, 27. He's played in 27 games.
I'll say
15-1.
What?
He's only thrown 15 touchdowns in 27 games. I'll say
15-1. I was saying
15-1.
What?
he said the ratio.
That's like better than Aaron Rodgers.
No,
Well,
would
the
say
way you said it, you made it like he was.
I would say it's 22-10.
Minshew in his 27 starts has thrown for 41 touchdowns and 12 picks. That's like some gunslinging.
Yeah.
That's legit.
He always is. He's one of those guys that just gets it done.
Yeah. And he was on that shitty Jags team.
I actually thought that this year there was going to be a big old Philly, implosion because they were going to debate it on sports radio. Who's better, Minshew or Hurts? But Hurts has been so good that he's eliminated the entire discussion. Joe Beatty says, here's $5. Purdy's like Alex Smith, accurate, sneaky, quick, and absolutely no arm strength. The one thing about Purdy and Alex Smith is Purdy lets it rip.
Yeah. He's got the next year gene.
I mean, we saw the NFC Championship game against the New York Giants. He threw like 7 or 8, sideline out patterns, all short of the receiver and away from the defender, and they were all just incompletions that went off the fingertips of his receiver. I mean, he just refused to take chances. I mean, it was pathetic, really. I mean, I love Alex Smith and I've got total respect for him, but in that game, everybody remembers Kyle Williams with the fumbles, but I mean, my God, how non-competitive could Alex Smith be in that game? I mean, that was disheartening. Chiguayo says, here's $2. Those 4 years of playing helped Purdy develop skills. There's no doubt.
He has a very particular set of skills.
He, 4 years at Iowa State, and look at the difference. Look at. Tim Ryan called it out in the first preseason game when Brock was bleeding the play clock down with the Niners on a final fourth quarter drive with a lead. Now, it's not that rare to see a quarterback burn out the play clock, but it is for a rookie in the fourth quarter of his first NFL start. Generally, you're out there just trying to get comfortable and figure things out and, understand who's giving you the plays and get them called correctly and get everybody lined up correctly. That's like too much for most young quarterbacks. To have this kid step in and with the level of complexity involved in this offense and to be able to come in as a rookie, not play, just practice, learn enough about the intricacies of this offense to be able to step in December with no experience at all in the NFL and beat Miami and Tampa in back-to-back games and look incredibly impressive doing it. I think if you really do your due diligence on Brock Purdy, you might find out that he's like exceptionally bright, because it takes a lot to mentally go through this playbook that Shanahan has. I mean, guys, Matt Ryan was dramatically better in year 2 from year 1 under Shanahan. And he was already a veteran quarterback at that point. So here's a rookie trying to understand Kyle's system and everything that goes along with it. And he looks like he's got it down. Like he's been in the offense for years. So I think Brock Purdy, the one thing we can't see is we can't see how smart he is. We can only see, we can see the moxie and the arm strength, the foot speed, and a lot of those things. We don't really know what's between the ears, but this guy processes what he sees fast and correctly, and is playing efficient football, with a lot of pressure in an offense that he didn't know anything about until May 1st or something like that. I mean, it's pretty freaking amazing that he played as well as he played today. When you look at the other quarterbacks who have gone into this offense, I mean, Jimmy came over as a veteran quarterback. They didn't even let him play for 6 weeks. And then even then he didn't get a full dose of the playbook. You get the feeling like Purdy is totally up to speed. He just outplayed Tom Brady.
Yeah, he's like, I feel like Purdy is everything that Shanahan was hoping Mac Jones would be if he drafted him. And the truth is, Mac Jones is kind of like, seems like a little bit of a weirdo. Maybe it's
Mac Jones might be a good comp. What do you think of that?
But I think a way cooler Mac Jones, like a Mac Jones that everyone likes.
Mac Jones.
What?
Yeah. A likable Mac Jones.
Yeah, there's another thing. We talk about Mac Jones. We talked about or Joe Burrow. We talk about a lot of these guys. Mac Jones is a guy that only played 15, 17 games
Starts
at Alabama.
Yeah.
But he did play at a high level.
Yeah, he did, but he didn't play many starts.
But I don't blame Mac this year for the regression.
No,
I blame Patricia.
The trash.
Yeah,
the
Patricia
trash
and the weapons.
Calling. Yeah, I mean
They got a terrible offense.
I mean, you look at the Niners offense, we talk about Kyle being 9-29 or now 10-29. I mean, the weapons he came in with in 2017, their number one receiver was Marquise Goodwin. Okay. So the Niners had no weapons. They did have Garcon.
They had like a slightly washed
Pierre Garcon.
Pierre Garcon, who was pretty good, but they had nothing.
And Jimmy balled with that pretty good.
Yeah. And then
how about this one for a comp, guys? Mr. NorCal, Purdy's everything Zach Wilson was supposed to be.
Maybe he's just everything Zach Wilson is not. Like he can't make the throws that Zach Wilson can make at the high level, but who even cares? Like those throws are maybe needed one time a game, two times a game. And like, even if you can make them, you probably won't complete them. So who cares?
Who's the number one quarterback this year in efficiency for
Tua?
It's been Tua. Look at Tua's ball. He doesn't throw it hard. It's a very soft, lofty throw. A lot of times it doesn't even get to where, like tonight, watching the game, it wasn't even getting to where it needed to go.
I think that I think the Niners might have just ruined Tua. Like, I think they broke Tua a little. I think that he was seeing ghosts out there.
Niners?
And I think he's just mentally broken.
Yeah.
Well, they I'll say this. I mean, Tua rolled in. They had tremendous momentum. The 49ers sped him up. Listening a little bit to Greg Cosell break it down this week, he felt like Tua never was really ever comfortable in that game because the Niner D-line had such a presence. And, that's what a great D-line will do.
Yeah, Tua started 3 for 17 tonight. Like, that is in the game where he's going up against Justin Herbert in a game that was flexed to Sunday night, and they stayed out in California all week, and that was the hype. It was him and then he just laid an egg.
Jaguayo says, in a weird way, all the blitzing will sharpen Brock Purdy. Well, there's no question. Yeah, I mean, there are quarterbacks like Mahomes that you don't even dare blitz. They're better if you don't blitz them. If you blitz them, you give them a defined read.
I know. Seriously, I think that if you're talking adjustments that could be made versus Purdy, I think one adjustment is don't blitz, because teams see rookie quarterback comes out of nowhere, Mr. Irrelevant, not that big, blah, blah, blah. Maybe he'll, let's blitz the hell out of him, freak him out, and make him turn the ball over, not realizing that this guy is already a vet. Like, he's like, please blitz me. Like, I will freaking
what you're probably going to see, you may see a lot of fake blitzes where linebackers drop back into coverage into the passing lanes, and Purdy most likely will, throw a pick or two to.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Ben Affleck's double chin with that pumpkin.
Is that a pumpkin? That looks very familiar.
Yeah, I think that's Ben Affleck's double chin.
I had a point to make, and now I don't remember what the fuck it was, because you showed Ben Affleck's double chin picture.
Oh, but he paid, so.
Oh man. God, I'm not going to be able to figure out what I was going to say. Who's cornerback 2 now that Diamador Lenore is out? Ambry Thomas
is he out?
He'll get picked on. I think you might see Janoris Jenkins, the Jackrabbit, the veteran.
What happened with Lenore? I thought he came back in.
Well, first of all, he's saying well, now that Lenore is out. Yeah, I don't know that Lenore is out.
I thought Lenore came back in. Maybe I'm
Alba
mistaken.
reporting live from the stadium. Lenore isn't out. He left the game momentarily. But came back
exactly.
He
came
was
back
down on the turf for a few minutes.
He came back in.
Womack
What if he
went out
lost
with
his
concussion,
wind
too?
Or was it a concussion symptoms? Is that what it
I think
was?
so.
Oh, so he won't be there Thursday night then, Womack. How many guys did they lose on defense? They like 3 or 4?
They lost Hyder and Givens and
maybe they should just pull an NBA and just rest all the boys. Just give them another bye week.
They just say we're going to take it off. We give it to you. We give it to you, Seattle.
I think they would beat Seattle with Josh Johnson.
Purdy went over to the stands and was hugging his family. Did you guys see that video?
Saw that
after.
So cool. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Hey, there's a lot of people.
How about this one? We got this one. Bomber T. Niners hit a gold mine with Brock Purdy. He's a Jeff Garcia, Russell Wilson hybrid.
I mean, where do you plug him in? Who did he compare himself to, or not? Maybe not compare himself, but who did he say that he watches and models his game after? Was it like Wilson and Breeze and somebody else? I think.
Yeah, we did ask him this question.
We got another. We got a donation here.
Brian says, "Here's $1.99. Giants signed Sean Mania 2-year deal."
And guess what that means, Giants fans? What do you think that means, Giants fans? Goodbye, Carlos Rodon. He's your replacement. Sean Mania is your replacement for Carlos Rodon.
Well, it's going to be a 2-for-1, isn't it? Don't you expect Mania and another guy? I do.
No, another pitcher? No.
Yeah, I do.
I think
they'll sign 2 pitchers.
All I know is that this is probably the only time.
2-for-1.
This is probably the last time all year we're going to see the name Sean Mania and 199 in the same.
He had a 5.91 ERA this year,
exactly.
I believe.
We're not.
I don't think they're going to sign any. Well, they may sign some other journeyman. I heard they were even looking at David Price, which would be just so.
He said he's not going to play this year.
Yeah,
what about
that'd be so Giants. That'd be so Giants if they signed a guy that decided he wasn't going to play.
Jeez.
We gave David Price 3-year deal, but he's not going to start till next year because this year he doesn't want to play.
You should sign Kyler Murray.
Yeah, that would be. Let him play. Doesn't he play shortstop or did he play outfield? But he's with the A's. He's
I don't mind the Sean Mania deal, but somebody said they got him for the same money as Kodai Senga, and I think Senga probably had better stuff. And Mania has had some injuries, but I'll say this: I don't like giving starting pitchers $20 million a year on long-term deals. I would much rather keep going at the bargain aisle for starting pitching. I don't feel that way about position players, but I do feel that way about starting pitching. And I'd much rather spread that money around and get. Yeah, I'd much rather show up in spring training instead of having one premier guy to go with Logan Webb. And I'd rather show up in spring training with like 10 starting pitching options that I could go to at different points in the year.
Mania's deal does have an opt-out too. It does. It does have an opt-out deal. Corey Cooper says.
Can Purdy play shortstop?
The other thing I'll say this about, I said it earlier, but it still baffles me. Giants really wanted Bellinger, but they wouldn't cough up a few more million. He signed with the Cubs for 17.
And how do you have any idea that they really wanted him?
Yeah, because Cap. Here's the deal.
Because Cap said so.
No,
because they said so. That's what they've been saying about everybody. They just.
Kapler talked about
just freaking
Alex Pavlovich, a season ticket holder. He might know.
No, Alex put an article.
Oh, now it's
out.
Alex. Look at you guys on a first name basis.
Pavlovich put an article out.
Oh, now it's a last name, a singular name,
directly from the top at the Giants.
What they wanted.
AP had something out earlier that he had told me that he was going to put out. AP.
No, he said.
Ahead, Danny.
He said that the Giants really liked him, and then Gabe was talking. In fact, I was watching Gabe on this interview down at the winter meetings, and he was talking about how he doesn't comment on free agents. And then he went on to say 263 words about how Cody Bellinger is a game changer with his defense and how incredible he is. And we really like him. And then an hour later, he signed with the Cubs. Now, if you really wanted Cody Bellinger, you don't think you could have come up with $2 or $3 million more on a 1-year deal? Come on.
I wanted to see Cody Bellinger, man.
They came away with nothing. Imagine if Now, here's the dilemma the Giants face going forward. Is this
all right? We are rapidly dropping. We were at 5:50 a minute and a half ago.
It's 11:20 and people have been dropping.
Danny
we're coming back to the Niners.
No matter if it drives every person out of the room.
We're coming back to the Niners in 1 minute.
At 496, we're done.
Okay, we're coming back to the Niners in less than 45 seconds. If the Giants don't sign anybody,
probably cost us a couple people.
Anybody good, they're going to have a hard time getting people next year. So maybe they have to bite the bullet and go out and get a Correa just so they can attract people next year. That's it. Even though I don't like the Correa deal for 11 years at all.
Did Rodon sign somewhere, by the way, guys?
Not yet. Okay, we're going back up. 508. We went from 506 to 508.
Clark's positive feedback on the prospects with Larry and Ray Ratto. I actually asked Will on Friday. Two names of guys that you like. He said Vaughn Brown and Casey Schmidt.
Right.
Are they ready this year? That's the question.
He also doesn't. Will Clark doesn't like the idea of the Giants signing Correa either for 11 years. He doesn't like deals over 5.
Enough what makes sense.
All right. Seriously. I'm seeing people saying their eyes are glazing over. Back to Minshew. But
Mark Graves, Dan knows how to empty a room.
Yeah. It's like he farted on the internet.
Oh, man. Oh, did you smell that?
Oh, Farhan.
Dan just put a Farhan out there. Oh,
that's what they're called.
I can smell you were listening to an article by Alex Pavlovich.
Oh, man. Oh. Stay low. Oh, do you smell that, Mania?
Oh man,
it's manure.
I am not joking. I think that Minshew. It would be kind of funny if Minshew. Okay, if Hurts got injured and Dak got injured, and then it was just like the 3 best, most complete teams in the NFC all had. It was between Cooper Rush, Gardner Minshew, and Brock Purdy. Only one ring to rule them all.
I'm a believer in Purdy. What's going to be Purdy's nickname? You guys going to come up with a Purdy nickname?
I was trying to get the Brocket ship going.
The Brocket ship?
Yeah, the Brocket ship
championship, like a Brocket ship. What?
We can't go with Big C Brock. No way.
Oh, Bra. Well, he was Brocktober in college because he was so good in October, but I think he covered every game in October or something.
Joe Beatty says, here's $5. If you want to talk baseball, can you talk about a real team like the St. Louis Cardinals?
Yeah.
Hey, how about that Nolan Arenado, huh?
Yeah.
Baby.
Paul Goldschmidt. Hey. And they got
Contreras. Is he going to will we be better than Yachty?
You think
line them up, every Cardinal fans.
Pujols gonna get to 700 one more year?
Goddamn Mosaic. All right, Cardinal fans, line them up.
You should have traded Bader. God damn it!
What the hell? Why do you send Harrison to the Yankees? Damn it!
Yeah,
that'll be a great bit if call up and we'll just start arguing about your team.
Yeah,
donate $5 if you want to hear us talk about your team.
You give us your favorite team, and we'll just start bitching as aggressively and as angrily as we can for 60 seconds.
Everybody, $5 for your team, and then we'll cover it.
Excuse me, I'm a Royals fan. Goddamn Benintendi.
I gotta say, I think Joe Buck is the most measured announcer out there these days. What about you guys? You Cards fans.
Is he as measured as Farhan when it comes to negotiating?
Well, you know what? I think that the Cardinals should make a move for Farhan.
I think it's going to be. I think the new chant for 23 is not going to be talking about Farhan. I think it's going to be in the Giant circles, fans. It's going to be far gone. Yeah, that's going to be the referendum next year. If this team goes out there the way it looks constructed now, I mean, you're looking at 90 losses minimum.
Too far gone.
Larry, you're muted. He's talking, but his mouth. What we missed Larry's
message on my cell phone from one of my fraternity brothers from college. He said, Krueg, They need to go with the 2 Live Crew. Hey, we want some Purdy.
Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, that's a great one for the. Yeah, wait. Have we talked about the fact that like the crowd got freaking as fired up as I've seen them all year? Like,
hey, we want some Purdy. I don't know, man.
Hey,
I don't know.
We want some.
I could see it being a hit. I could see it being a hit in the Upper Deck.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
2 Live Crew remake.
I mean, it'd be
great.
great.
Even know what Purdy's in place of. How much Luther Campbell?
Oh,
are you up on, Danny?
Want some money, right? Want some money?
Danny, no, Luther Campbell. Are you aware of Luther Campbell, middle infielder?
No
prospect coming up.
No, Luther Vandross, but not Campbell.
No Luther Campbell, really?
No. Who's he play for?
He played for 2 Live Crew. Chiguayo 56, $2. Some guy in another chat called him Brocky Balboa.
Brocky
Balboa. Now that's cheeseball.
Brock. Oh, something with Doctor Brockter Evil. Brockter Evil. 1 million passing yards.
Glock Purdy, Digital Drew.
Yeah, I got a Brock in my Rari.
Vicky Pellich says, Danny, the Giants are irrelevant thanks to Farhan and Kepler.
Yes, I agree, Vicky. That is true. Very true. They are irrelevant.
Were they really chanting Big C Brock in the bathroom at Levi's?
Oh, I don't know.
John Taylor GG says they were chanting Big C Brock really loud in the bathroom at Levi's.
Just a bunch of that's just guys being dudes.
Family entertainment right there.
Big Rooster Brock is what they were saying.
Just a bunch of dudes all with their hand on their rooster, just chanting about the.
You can't be chanting that when a trough is nearby.
You know what's hilarious? Now that we're on this subject, you got to play this. This is a great.
Danny, stop getting us penalized.
No, we can't play stuff. This is hilarious. Did you guys see it the other day? The thing I sent you in the bathroom, the 3 dudes.
Was this more animals having sex?
No, it was hilarious. I thought it'd be great for our opening. We could put
something tells me that it's going to be some people might find it hilarious. Other people might.
No, every guy in the room, I guarantee, will find it hilarious. Even the women. Here it is. I'm going to send it back to you guys again. Look at your text and see if this is
Vicky
worthy.
Pellich says Joe Buck is ridiculously bland.
I just sent it to you guys. Text again, both of you. Look at it and see if it's worthy. It is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, Facebook.
Anonymous likes. Hey, we want some Purdy.
I thought this could be our show. You know, like I'm the bald guy, and Rye's the blonde, and Larry's the guy. Larry's the guy in the middle that comes up in the middle. You got to see. Facebook. You got to see this. It's
but it's really...
I hate the way Larry's get treated in commercials but it's really I feel like there should be a class action lawsuit.
This is
all
hilarious.
Larry should get together and sue for the way we are treated in American commercials.
And you got to have the sound on too.
And then Larry's always a jackass who steps on his own shoelaces and falls on his face. Have you noticed that? They never say Larry has a new Rolex and is driving a sports car. It's always like
classy.
Larry put laundry detergent. In
all right, here it goes. Listen to this.
Refrigerator.
Listen to this. This is hilarious. Why we need friends in life. Build it up a little bit. Blow it up later.
You got a light, mate?
Yeah, I have. I'll listen.
You do what? You hold up for a minute. I'm sure.
Sorry, I finished. It's all right, I'll take care of that.
I finished.
Me too.
That is some good potty humor.
That's some good stuff, Danny. Good stuff. We got this from Corey Cooper. Beef and Brocky.
Brock.
Mitchell and Ness. Chef Brock RD.
Oh, my brother's good at coming up with nicknames. He's probably asleep, though.
Wake him up. Are you kidding me? It's only 11:30. I'm sure he'd appreciate his brother calling him at 11:30 at night for Brock Purdy nicknames. Oh, man. Oh, this is a good one. Sean Crowley says, Brock Purdy sounds like a name from the Flintstones. It kind of does.
Why don't we run the commercial break and everyone come back with your best Brock nickname? Because I'm going to need like a moment of spacing out to come up with something.
We got to be coming down the home stretch. We're not going past midnight. All right, let's do this. We'll pay the bills. We'll come back and we'll have a few thoughts on a few other things. And it's all straight ahead on the Krueg Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, Telmetrix.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com, or it is number 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled.
So New York Style Sausage was started over 70 years ago. We are the largest producer of fresh Italian sausage on the West Coast.
What makes our sausage in New York style is really the recipe came from back east, from New York, from Connecticut.
If you look at all of our labels, there's maximum 4 or 5 ingredients, which we're really proud of.
There's no preservatives, no MSG, fresh in, fresh out.
The pork comes in fresh, goes out fresh. There's never any freezing throughout the process. We've always used fine quality cuts. We're never going to deter from that. It's one of the reasons why our sausage is so good. I guarantee you put our sausage up against anybody else's from a flavor standpoint, no one will beat it, hands down.
Hey, do yourself a favor and do me a favor. Go buy a package of the New York Style Italian sausage. Guaranteed you will love it. Guaranteed.
Hey, Pasquale. Dan Coccimilgio here for the Krueg Show. Just picked up for the very first time some of your New York style Italian sausage here at Sam's Club in Arizona. My wife just cooked it, and I'm about to take a bite. Man, this is good. Pasquale, when you winked and said you guaranteed we love it, you're right. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Best sausage I've ever tasted. Thank you, Pasquale.
All right, we are coming down the home. We're coming down the home stretch on the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger, Dan Coccimilgio, Ron Smith, with you after Niner football. Niners routed the Tampa Bay Bucks behind Brock Purdy. They took it to the Bucks, and Brock Purdy will be discussed coast to coast tomorrow. And there'll be a lot of people saying a lot of things about Brock. All I'll say is, because the things that people want to know, and they just really want to know this: is he legit, or is he Mullins? Is he a guy that's going to go back to, being kind of a backup and nothing in 3 weeks, and this is just a nice little start, or is he a legitimate NFL starting quarterback? I believe he's a legitimate NFL starting quarterback.
Hey, we might have a winner here.
What do you got?
I like this. Brock and load.
That's so bad.
Lock and load, Brock and load.
Yeah, I know. That is bad.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was somebody else who had one in here that was good. Oh, here we go. Anonymous. The celebration in the end zone. Everyone, the fans on should everyone fans on each other call it the Brock pile.
Do you see I sent it to you, Ryan. Are you able to play that? Or is that
What?
Are you able to play those? I sent you the end zone celebration. That was pretty cool. He got fired up. You see him spike it? It's on your text line.
Oh, it's just I don't know if I can be playing these highlights, dog.
Don't be playing highlights, Danny.
Oh.
Danny. It's
Dan,
and don't feed the dog.
Dan would have a YouTube show for 9 minutes, and then he'd be like, 3 strikes and he's out.
You get a strike for just playing, even though it's somebody tweeted it.
Don't you negotiate with this firm line?
Face palmed Godzilla. Brock. Larry called it from the beginning. Purdy. Don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget it. Shanti Ortega says Dan needs acting lessons. Actually, Dan and Rye are talking about taking acting lessons, right?
Yes.
You guys are going to take. It's an improv class.
An online improv class just to work on
I took an improv class. Can I tell you how it's going to go?
Yeah.
Guys, come on in. Sit down.
Mitch Haniger.
First, I'd like everybody to sit crisscross applesauce. We used to call it Indian style, but now that's no longer politically correct. So we're going to call it crisscross applesauce.
Calling it commander style.
If you could possibly cross your legs and let's sit on the floor. Dan, good to see you. I'm so glad you're taking this class. Dan, we're going to have so much fun. The first thing we're going to do, Dan, I want you to just go with it. I just want you to try the best you can. I'm going to give you an instruction. You just follow it. Dan, become for us a grapefruit. Go ahead.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's
exactly what's going to happen.
Tweet about a grapefruit.
Wait, Dan, you know what? I'd like you.
I'm not one of these woke
use your
idiots.
imagination and take this any way you want to go. Become a nectarine.
Oh, gee.
No, it's not.
Yes, they are going to do that shit.
No.
Yes, they are. That's what improv classes do.
No.
Yes. Ryan,
loser.
please. I like your blonde hair. I think you should be a banana.
You know what? I'll come back with.
Be a banana. Show us that you know what a banana is.
I'm going to come back and say.
Banana gets it.
I'm going to come back with them and they call me Dan. I'm going to say, call me by my proper pronoun.
No. It's not like that acting kind of like annoying BS. It's like, it's like all of a sudden, like you're just building a scene. You're just effing around, building a scene with somebody else. They're coming up with something random, taking it someplace. Then you have to grab the steering wheel.
I know. No. I've seen the show. But what's it called? What's the show called where the guy, remember
whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. Whose line is it anyway?
Yeah. And it would be the groundling.
Become a grapefruit? What do you think?
Oh,
Dan, I'd like you to become a squash. Think about what a squash would be, and then make yourself that. You're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh my God, Ryan signed me up for this. I can't believe this."
I'll just turn over and just let out a big fart. That's what I'll do.
No, you know what you should say? You should say, "Hi, my name is Daniel Coccimilgio," and then when they say, "Can we call you Dan?" you say, "You may not," and then see the reaction in the room.
Dan, this is what like
Can we call you Danny? No, you may not.
No, you may not. I want you to call me. I am the most wonderful person on earth, and I want to be called that. Gosh, what is this? These
what
clowns.
Are you in? I'm actually a Giants fan. Become 2 tickets to a game in a drawer. Go. You're gonna be sitting there. I don't know. Goddamn right, fucking right.
Dan,
I'm not paying $200 for that.
This is the school that like Will Ferrell did, and like it's like a cool ass thing. It's actually cool. It's not like some like BS thing you maybe would find like random.
Look at Will Ferrell. The guy's
this is cool, but you know what else is cool? HOA meetings.
Yeah,
they're also really cool.
It's gonna be a lot like an HOA meeting.
It's gonna be a lot like an HOA meeting.
That's what I'll
Dan,
do.
pretend you're parked in visitor parking.
I'm just gonna do what Carlo P said
here at Del Boca Vista.
I'll just do this.
Yeah, seriously. Come up with a distinctive laugh. That's what you need. You need to come up with a distinctive laugh.
Yeah, maybe like
yeah, a wild, crazed laugh.
Every time.
You can do an improv.
Or something really ridiculous, like
or just like
there's something where you get kicked out.
Improv class.
I would pay money to see Dan kicked out of the class. Excuse me.
Believe me, it wouldn't be the first time.
It's Dan Coccimilgio, right? Dan, could you possibly leave? Thank you.
Yeah,
we appreciate it.
It would not be the first time.
We are trying to learn to act, and you're not helping, Dan.
Al A. We missed another chat.
Jaguayo 56 says, I saw Brady on the bench thinking, WTF is going on. Yeah, he was thinking, man, I don't believe in my Tampa team. They look bad.
Yeah, he's quit on them, I feel like.
He has. I really think so, too. Well, I don't know, quit, but he doesn't
believe.
I'll say this. I don't think he believes.
It's like his last Patriot season. Like, he clearly doesn't like trust his weapons and trust his line.
Al A donates $5, says, I'm late, but how about that back shoulder touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey? Whoa.
Dime.
Oh, wow. Hey, Adam Copeland, I just tweeted something as I was brainstorming ideas. I just tweeted it. And then the only person that's liked it is Adam Copeland. He said, nice. I just randomly tweeted out of the blue, Brock Lobster, the B-52s. Like that song.
Down. Everybody goes down to the ground.
Brock Lobster.
It's a good song, actually. Would you go down on the ground in the middle of that song? Because, you're supposed to go down.
Larry's drunk tonight on Purdy. Love it.
Oh, I am. I'll own that one.
Are you elated?
I feel good about Purdy.
Are you elated? MF says he feels elated.
I am elated. I'm not like Aaron Judge elated, but I'm elated.
I'm like pretty Mania elated.
Sean Mania related. Hey, the only thing I can say that's good about them signing Mania
is that they did something,
and that they're not probably going to get Rodon is we're probably going to see a lot of Kyle Harrison, and That's cool. If you're going to be crappy, let's see Harrison. Let's see Casey
I like
Smith.
Minaya. He's a young pitcher who hasn't fulfilled his potential.
And let's
Didn't
see.
he throw no-no? Didn't he throw no-no?
I think early.
We should get Dallas Braden too.
He throws
Yeah.
low 90s.
Yeah, he's better.
If
He
he's
throws a perfect
healthy,
game.
if he's healthy, I like Minaya.
I like his hair. How
I
did
do
he-
too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
I'd rather
he's
them
got
go
objectively good
with
hair.
multiple.
Dan,
Give
or,
me multiple pitchers. Give me multiple pitchers over one pitcher.
Yeah, why don't we just sign a bunch of guys? We
This
should
is
just
what-
sign a bunch of guys at $12.5 million, give them opt-outs, and then they'll all opt out.
Wait, Gabe saw him and was like, "Oh my god, we must have him! Look how much coconut oil he can put in his hair." it's so dark and greasy.
5.91 ERA. Wow, we can improve on that. Eric Sully, Larry's interview with Will Clark has to be a little bit more optimistic about the Giants offseason so far. Yeah,
Will was a little more optimistic. I mean, he works with the Giants. I understand.
yeah, he works for the team.
I mean, he did say he's never leaving.
For the team.
He's never leaving again. I mean, the only good thing, there's always a silver lining, right, in something. So the silver lining could be that the Giants are so bad this year that they actually
How bad are they?
That they actually
Get relegated.
They make changes and bring in a whole new regime. Bring in baseball people.
You know what? Here's the thing about that. I've heard people make this suggestion before, and I just can never get there. I can never get to, well, let's just hope the bottom falls out, and so there's regime change. Do you know how much pain is involved and how many steps are involved and all that? And the unknown, it's like the people who hired this regime are the people who are going to hire the next regime.
Well, let me ask you
if they
this,
didn't
Larry.
get it right with these guys, what makes you think they're getting it right with the next guys?
Let me ask you this.
I mean, I know what you're saying. I hear if they all fall on their face to such a degree, maybe they'll pull the plug on the whole damn,
Well, I want them to make the playoffs.
But, I mean, it's one of those things that sounds better than it actually is.
I want them to make the playoffs, and I want to see
playoffs.
And I want to see them win, 88, 90 games, make the playoffs somehow.
In 1 year or two?
And every year. That's how I go into a season.
So it's not 44 wins for 2 years. It's one win.
So the product is perfectly designed for your taste, Dan.
But I'm going to ask you guys a question. Would you rather see the Giants in 23
go
80 and 82, 79 and 83, or lose 90 plus games and just have the place I mean, I personally I want to see them if they're not going to make the playoffs and they're going to just be the same boring team. I want to see it torn up. I want to see them lose badly because I don't want.
You're rooting for the tire fire.
Either make the playoffs, be competitive. If you don't make the playoffs,
basically
let it come down to the last weekend, or be crap. Don't give me this
shit or get off the pot, Giants.
Yeah, just
shit or get off the goddamn pot.
This is the fifth team in baseball with the highest revenue. Fifth in baseball.
Did you say fifth?
We're like the Knicks.
They're
Did you
five.
say fifth? Are we doing finger painting here?
Yeah, five. They're number 5 in
You
revenue.
notice that Dan's got kind of a relatively small hand. Let me see that hand. It's almost like an infant's hand.
Oh, come on.
It's kind of like a baby's hand.
That's like a regular man's hand, except smaller.
Wait, hand up, Dan.
You see that? This is a hand that can palm a basketball.
I can too.
That looks like a hand that would have a hard time reading, even just ringing the doorbell. Do you see the strength in this hand compared to that hand?
Look at this hand. Look at this hand to face ratio, Dan. Let me see your hand to face ratio.
Hand to face ratio. You're 6'5".
Rye's got a Brian Baldinger pinky.
That's pretty.
Look at Rye's pinky. It's off to the side. It's like a little bit of
covers
skew.
my whole face.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have a very small face.
Man.
Anonymous. You know what they say, Larry. There's always one. There's always somebody in the room. You know what they say.
Larry, don't worry. His covers his face.
Oh, gosh. Oh, you guys are fun.
Anonymous. Dan has a small face, too. What if that became
Your
Danny's
hair is
nickname from now
small.
on? Danny Smallface. Sounds like a mafia hitman. What's his name? Dan Coccimilgio. We call him Danny Smallface.
And what's bad is when you're Italian and you're growing up as a kid, and your nose is bigger than your face growing up, and the joke was growing up, hey, is that your nose? Is that your nose, or is that a banana?
That's some
It's good stuff. That's
very
good stuff.
very elementary.
Elementary
MF
stuff.
says,
Yeah.
would Ned come back and be a GM?
I don't
You know, he's
think
already
so.
announced his retirement, so I don't see that. But I know he's got great affinity for the Giants. That's for sure.
I mean, I think we should still campaign for it.
I mean, I'll say this. I think Ned, if you really are in the mindset of you're going to get better by competing for major league free agents, then hell yeah, Ned Colletti would be a great GM because he's got great relationships with agents. He gets deals done. He doesn't get led around by the nose. He doesn't get played.
Well, that's because he doesn't have Dan's nose.
If he had Dan's smallish face.
Hey, I tell you,
I mean, Ned comes in and just palms the negotiations. And he's got the negotiations
Dan
in
walks
his
in
hand.
and shakes
like
Ned's
this,
hand, and then Dan just evaporates as he's so emasculated.
He's like James Worthy on the break, you know. What I mean?
you guys, man. Hey, I'll tell you what. I would.
Wait, Romo's making a prediction here. Wait a second. He says next Giants signing will be Gene Segura manning shortstop for your Giants. No, he's not going to play third shortstop. He's going to play second, right?
Here's what
Gene Segura?
I actually thought this the other day. You know how you dream things? I said to yourself, I said, man, I really.
Wait a second. Wait a second. What are you dreaming about?
I really wish I could be the head negotiator for the Giants when it comes to signing free agents.
Wait.
I don't.
You're dreaming this?
Before you say what you're going to say, I'm imagining you as like like one of those old time cartoons where like you're like a cartoon old man that's sleeping, and you're like you've got all this like cartoonish spit that keeps going up.
That's just.
And every time it goes up, you like say a word, so you're like. Henniger.
As you're dreaming this, you're not wearing one of those things that helps you with like sleep apnea over your nose, is it?
No, I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking, man, I wish I could get a hold of Larry Bear and say, look.
I had a dream last night that I was trading.
My hands, Bear.
I can put your ball club in my tiny little hands and let me shape it.
First thing I were doing is we're taking pictures with me with all the dudes.
There's no way I would have lost out on Cody Bellinger. No way. I mean, he wanted a 1-year deal. How simple
is
that?
If I had Cody Bellinger in my tiny hands,
honestly, who do you think has bigger hands, Dan or Farhan?
Oh, I got a picture of me and Farhan.
Let me see that hand again.
Oh, I'm going to show you Farhan.
No,
right here.
now he's refusing to show his hands.
I've got a picture.
You all know, Dan, that you're very proficient at Photoshop, and we don't know if we can.
One of my favorite Seinfeld episodes of all time is Man Hands. Have you guys ever seen that?
Yeah.
He goes on a date with this woman, and she's got these monster hands.
Remember that? Yeah.
Remember that? And she's she's washing her hands. There's like water going everywhere. They're just these big old meat hook hands. She was like, a former major league catcher or something. Johnny Bench looking hands.
Oh,
Johnny Bench had huge hands. They said Johnny Bench could put 6 baseballs in one hand.
No, really?
Do you guys remember LSU basketball star Jose Vargas?
I
Do you guys remember Jose Vargas? Danny's brother, the college basketball coach, will remember Jose Vargas. The rumor is that Jose Vargas had such big hands that he literally could deflate a basketball in one hand.
Jesus Christ. Is he a cyborg?
I don't know. Jose Vargas, look it up. Jose, you could Google Jose Vargas hands compared to Dan Coccimilgio's hands.
Wow.
I mean, it's night and day. Night and day.
Just hands humiliation.
Mark Graves, does Dan have limp wrist handshake? No, but I can tell you who does.
What is
But I
that?
don't.
Wait,
Mark
wait,
Graves
wait.
can't have limp wrist handshake.
Yeah, wait. We already have confirmation that there is somebody in the Giants front office with very small limp hands. And you know who had some of the bigger hands? I was astounded. I was very surprised at how big his hands were. Bruce Bochy.
Oh, I've shook Boach's hand.
Fucking
Huge.
mitt. Absolute mitt. Oh, Larry, you're muted again. Larry, you're muted.
Larry, you're lazy. You're lazy, Larry. You're muted.
Lazy.
Lazy.
I was gonna say, who's got huge hands are NFL wideouts.
Yeah.
You ever seen NFL wide receivers' hands?
You know what, Larry? We should go on Wednesday. We should just go up to all the different players while they're in their robes and just be like, "Can I see your hands? Can I just let me see these hands?"
And just start talking about how soft they are.
Yeah.
You have very soft hands.
Do
Do you use oil of Olay?
You know Gabe Kapler?
What do you use? That'd be hilarious.
How often?
What do you use on your hands? Oh, actually, I use Jergens. Yes,
What brand?
they're very
of
moist. That's helping me. Jergens is taking me to the Pro Bowl. Look at Danny. Danny's ready to cough up a lung. You all right over there, Dan?
Yeah, I muted the mic so you didn't hear my.
He's just got.
Yeah.
Dan's just got such a small throat.
All right, now we're just cracking ourselves up for no reason. All right, so what do we got going this week? What do we got going? We're going to be in Santa Clara on Tuesday for interviews. So we'll do some interviews. Maybe Jordan Mason. If there's somebody that you would, what player would you like me and Ryan to sit down with and interview? Throw some names in the chat if a player that you would like to know more about. We're going to do some longer profile interviews, like 8, 9, 10-minute interviews. Just getting to know some of the players. What Niner player would you like to get to know more? Just let us know in the chat, or you can hit me on social media. And we'll be there on Tuesday. Now the Warriors go this week, right? What days do we have? Let me check the Warriors schedule. See what days we're going live streams.
See, everyone's going to say Purdy, but honestly, Purdy is going to be pretty difficult to get. Like I think they're really kind of, this is just so much all at once.
They're going to cover Purdy. They're going to protect Purdy. Let's see.
Tuesday. You guys got him first,
Milwaukee.
and you'll know, and the parents are probably very, very elated that
Greenlaw. I love Greenlaw.
Covered him.
We do
Greenlaw is the man. We love talking to Greenlaw. We really do. I mean, he's one of my personal favorites. He's violent as far as on the football field.
Tayshaun Gibson, we got that one time, and he was like awesome. But
who's that?
Tayshaun Gibson. We got him early on, and he was really good.
Somebody said Tabor Pepper. We can get Tabor.
He's a guy we really should get on. Like
I know he wants to come on. It's there's guys in the room that are too big time for us, and then we might be too big time for him. You know what I mean?
The food chain.
And it's like in the food chain, it's like we're slightly above Tabor Pepper, but then there's like 5 guys that are above us. So don't feel bad, Tabor. So maybe we should dip down for a little bit of Tabor and then maybe try to reach up for a little bit of Kittle.
Yeah, that's the only way to balance it out.
We need.
It's like we go up to Kittle and we're like, "Look, Kittle, come on, man, can you do us a favor? Look, we just did a huge favor for your buddy."
Hey, we reached down to Tabor. Could you reach down to us? He's like, no, aren't you guys associated with that small hands Dan Coccimilgio? We're not. I ain't going there. I don't want to be on any small hand show. All right, TDP. Ask him why he doesn't. T-Bone's like, TDP, ask him why he doesn't play, Larry. Yeah, I'm sure that would go over well. Hey, why don't you get out there? Wouldn't you like to play with the other guys? Chiguayo 56, $2. You gentlemen have a great night. Give me the wink. Well,
the Pasquale wink?
I have a hard time winking without moving my mouth. I can only wink on my right eye. I'm not a left.
Larry's winking. He's going.
Seriously, on my right eye, watch me go right eye wink.
Katy Perry?
Right eye wink, no problem. Watch this. Left eye wink.
Oh yeah, that's a sign of.
Yeah,
that's
not good. It's not good at all. Right eye,
sign of imbalance in your life, emotional instability.
Right eye, I'm like that. Left eye.
Let me type that in Google what that means.
You must just have one eye that's really lazy.
Lazy, Larry. You got a lazy fucking eye.
I
told you once, I told you 1,000 times, Larry. You got a lazy fucking eye.
It says here, those who wink drastically from one eye to the other is a sign of severe emotional instability and childhood
extremely
trauma.
Large hands.
Childhood trauma. And
you know what? One of the other symptoms of
42% of them are named Larry and were teased in school.
Wait a second. It's one of the things that leads to erratic eye wink is John Heyman tweets. John Heyman tweets.
Yeah. Oh,
Listen to this. The article. I'm reading it right here.
Graves says talk wrestling with Kittle.
Look, I'm reading it right here.
Kittle big timed me.
Furthermore,
did he?
Well, not really, but like so this was actually kind of funny because I was like, damn, I've got Will Gavin, so I could probably, punch above my weight, my weight level or weight whatever a little bit. So like I did get Trent Williams, which was sick,
right.
But then I was like, you know what, feeling myself like, oh, I could probably go get Kittle. And I like had them turn off there was Christmas music just blaring. And like, I was like, I'm like really sorry guys, but Will cannot hear a single thing with this music blasting. Like, can we turn it down a little bit? So they turned it off.
Oh,
and then Kittle was like, who the fuck touched the Christmas music? Blah, blah, blah. Just like a scary old fat guy or something. And then I was just like, oh, dude, it was all me. I am 100% the reason why it just turned off. He was like, what the hell, man? And then I was like, do you think we could get you for a few minutes? I'm whatever. I'm with Fox Sport. And then he was like, sorry, man. Gotta go hit the massage. And I was like, okay, that's pretty reasonable. You probably do need to do that. And it probably is awesome. And you probably don't want to talk to
Vicky Pellich says, hey, Larry, can you mail me a Krueg Show t-shirt? I'm up in Portland, Oregon. I will say this. I just ordered 50 Krueg Show t-shirts in sizes large, extra large, and 2XL. They are $25.
I don't even have one.
Rye's wearing one right now. Rye, could you stand up and show the shirt? Or do you have it? Yeah. It's a great looking shirt.
I already am standing.
I think it's a great looking shirt.
Wow. I need one of those. Yeah.
Danny, I will I will give you one, Dan.
Wait, Larry, you haven't made the extra smalls yet?
Yeah, there's one you have to be able to reach your hand through. And it's just kind of
man.
I don't want to challenge your
we should sell now that it's wintry, we should sell Krueg Show mittens and then we'll have
It's just have instead of having fingers, it just has just a bird. Just a bird.
We know what we do? We use it to like learn about all the whole Krueg Show, our Krueg Show community. Everyone that buys one will immediately know their hand size and judge.
But you know what? I would like to I'm not really trying to make money on these because we're just, I just want to get out the brand, but I did order 50 shirts. So if there's anybody who would like a Krueg Show t-shirt and you want me to send it to you, I'll send it to, only thing is I got to say is I think I got to charge you, unfortunately, for the shipping because it's so damn much, I think, to ship. So
reasonable.
What do you think? What do you think a t-shirt should cost for shipping? Maybe I could figure that out tomorrow at UPS store. Yeah. But yeah, if anybody would like a Krueg Show t-shirt and you wear size large, extra large, or 2XL, we're selling them for $25 a shirt. I ordered them from Caceres. They have them at the store there, but I know there's a lot of people that don't live
like $5.99 shipping
in Northern California. You can't stop by Dublin, California for your shirt. So I know I've had a lot of people ask me for shirts, and that's why I ordered 50 of them. And I'm more than willing to send them to you guys individually. But as I said, it would be about $25 plus shipping. So it's a great shirt. I'll say that. And they really look cool, and they really do support the show. And we're not making, more than $1 or $2 on the shirt. It's not like about making money. It's really just about getting the brand out for the shirt. So if you're in Dublin, stop by Caceres, the Italian menswear in Dublin. But if you're not in Dublin and you want a Krueg Show t-shirt, just contact us. And how should we do that, Rye? Should we, because we don't want people to put
hit me on Twitter, maybe Twitter DMs.
Yeah, DM me on Twitter or Rye or Danny, and just get me your address, and I will, and what size you want, how many you want, and we'll figure out a way to make this exchange.
Hey, MF said
wants a Krueg t-shirt, 500 or just $500 or $600 a shirt,
Yeah, no, they're $25 plus whatever it costs to ship it.
Well, the thing is, Larry, is we ship them via t-shirt gun. Those t-shirt guns in the game. We just we have to spend a lot of time within the trajectory.
Basically, if you can rip it out of Danny's tiny hands, you can have it for free.
Hey, what's going on with What's going on with MF here? Is he still waiting for his flight, or did he already fly?
Yeah, MF was in Burbank last week. She started the show in Burbank at the airport.
Is he home?
At airport.
Where are you at, MF?
MF? He's gonna land soon.
MF says Krueg Show Christmas album. No.
Or is he? Maybe he's on the plane.
But he wants a. He said MF says he wants a Krueg Show T-shirt.
MF, are you still flying right now? Tell us where you're at. Also,
no, he was going to Burbank, I think.
Congratulations, MF. He made it to the playoffs.
He's home.
He made it to the playoffs. I think I lost, but still made it. It looks like, and Calba beat me because
Chewy Cassis says, "Can you do 3XL?" I don't. I don't know if I can do 3XL, but if you are 3XL and you want one made, I will call my guy specially for you and see if I can get 1 or 2 3XLs. I'll say this. I'm 6'2", 225 pounds and slight boiler. I wear a double XL.
Extremely large, rugged hands.
Yeah. I mean, I've got very manly hands, but I wear a double XL. And I can take it off with one of my manly hands. I don't even use 2. I just
can you demonstrate that right now, Blair, for the show?
Yes.
My hands just operate via Bluetooth, and it just opens up.
Ryan Fitzgerald says, "Krueg Show koozies. Are those the things that hold the beer?"
Yeah. That'd be sweet. There's a lot of cold weather things I wish that we.
So Chewy Cassis, yes, I will do a 3XL if you need a 3XL. You just let me know. Just DM me. Al925 says, "I need a Krueg Show thong for the wife."
Oh, Jesus. Wait.
Don't even get me going on that. Don't even get me going.
Ortega is one. Oh, God. The things with. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. Shantae Ortega is a classic Krueg Show person. What does Rye would turn it down mean? What would I turn down?
How about this one? Krueg Show bed sheets. I'm like that guy. On Fox. What's that guy's name? Who does the and they come from the Gilda region of blah blah blah.
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell. And my sheets are softer than ever. And you can get my sheets for just $19.98. And they come in different colors and sizes.
What if we just went for the most inefficient, like we only made like one thing of each thing that we like of all these different ideas, instead of being like, okay, we'll just make 50 Krueg Show t-shirts so we get them at wholesale so we can like sell them and it's not too expensive.
We make one expensive shirt.
Everything. We're like, okay, we've got one thing in stock of recently made Krueg Show bed sheets. We have Krueg Show sandals that were just made.
We have some brand new Krueg Show gloves in extra size small for Dan Coccimilgio.
Hey, all you guys out there.
All